stories unfold, and the chat's got soul. From the gavel to the gas, we're watching it all. Covering the courtroom, big case or small. Laugh when we can, cry when we must, but it's all real talk, you can count on us. We're not the pros, just fans who care, with popcorn in hand and a comfy chair. And every twist, we're right there, together like we're all in the witness chair. This is the Broken Baker, where the trials come alive, where the chat is wild and the vibes survive. We're watching the worst of what people do, but we keep it light, yeah, that's our truth. It's the only place for crime, and it feels just right. We bring the justice talk into your night, so hit that stream, don't miss the call. At the Broken Baker, we cover it all. Oh yeah. We're just flaming with the view, but we ask the things the world wants to. Digging through the facts, side by side. Even when it's dark, we bring the light. No clickbait, no fake feels, just truth and the highs and the reels. With the chat that roasts and writes, we're just here for the case and the vibes. This is the Broken Baker, where the stories unfold, with a smile in the heart, even when it's cold. Yeah, we cover the bad with a wink and a grin, where the real talk starts, come on, jump in. It's the only place to be, can't you see? For trials and truth, it's BBTV. The Broken Baker, where the trials come alive. Yeah, we'll be here, trial and the trial. Yeah.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, and what is up with my camera's light settings? It's really bad. Why is that so bad? I really don't get that. Nope. Looks like I have a little bit of color. Welcome to this show about the... Oh, maybe that's why, because my light is... Why is it so sharp today? Everything's not working. My back's fucked up, and my brain is hurting after I read Wendy Murphy on the Twit. So let's try and do it again and say no. That's not what I wanted to do. This was what I wanted to do. Austrian Drummond, a case out of Tennessee, is having a preliminary hearing today. You might remember it. I don't think we talked about it when it happened. Some people were talking about he was on the run, and people were looking for him. He is the guy who unalived allegedly 4 people and left a baby on a porch. So some people found him. He is a convicted felon who had some gang ties. He claims that he's also an undercover informant for the FBI and maybe have some mental issues. So there's a lot to unpack from this case. When he allegedly did these acts, he was on bail for a prior attempted unaliving charge, and he had a previous history of aggravated robbery, which he served 10 years in prison. He had almost just gotten out of prison for that sentence, already on bail for another one, and then allegedly unalived 4 people. They are seeking the DP in this case. The victims are all relatives. They are the parents of the abandoned infant that was 7 months old. They were all found pew-pewed to death on Carlington Road in Tiptonville, Tennessee. Matthew Wilson, 21 years old, the father of the baby. Adrienne Williams, 20, was the mother. Courtney Rose, 38 was the maternal grandmother. They get kids in a young age in this family. Braden Williams, who was the uncle, so the sister to one of the brother to one of the victims, and a 7-month-old girl was left in a yard, but unscathed. They don't know why or haven't talked about why he did it, but apparently he was banging a prison guard who is related to, I just have it here. Why can't I did notes on it for once and now I can't find it. Well, he was banging a prison guard who was, yeah, okay, there it is. The motive is unclear, but he reportedly knew the victims and was dating the sister of Courtney Rose, the 38-year-old maternal grandmother to the baby, who is a prison guard. So probably met her when he was incarcerated. I know ladies love a bad boy, but we see it again and again in Danish prisons as well. Oh, but he's so sweet. Yeah, as long as he's behind bars and wants a little jig. And there has been multiple people who has been arrested as accomplices. 5 people so far has been arrested as accomplices. So so far, 3 of those people have had indictments raised against them. He is facing 4 counts of first-degree unaliving, 1 count of aggravated kidnapping, 4 counts of felon in possession of a pew-pew, 1 count of possession of a pew-pew doing dangerous felony, and that's it. So only a few charges. So could be a very interesting case. Oh, it's happening where you're living. Oh, interesting. Can you play the weird statement he made to his local news? I haven't seen any weird statements he has made to his Austin Drummond statement. The only statement I've seen is him in prison saying that he wanted. He was asking if that was when he getting a. Oh, there's a prior. Maybe this is what you're talking about. We can look at this. We don't have anything else going on. He was asking if he could ask for a speedy trial at one hearing, and the judge said, well, you have to go through your lawyer.
Tonight on the news at 6, you'll hear in a fight audio and new state records showing a number of disciplinary murders before he was arrested for last week's mass murders. WRAG investigators uncovered the audio and new state records showing a number of disciplinary infractions from his time in prison. Our chief investigator, Jessica Gertler, shows us what she's uncovered.
This is an initial parole hearing for Austin Drummond.
The audio recorded July 23, 2020, when Austin Drummond went before the Tennessee Board of Parole. He'd been serving a 13-year sentence at a state prison in Lake County.
Looks like you've got a couple of pending right now for drugs and a cell phone.
Drummond's disciplinary infractions from the previous year were discussed.
No, that hasn't been handled yet.
On top of that, he'd been in solitary confinement a total of 90 days for possession of a deadly weapon, an assault with that weapon, refusing a drug test, a security threat, and refusing to participate.
Looks like you've had about 27 incidents in total, 7 of them Class A, 7 Class Bs. We've had threats, deadly weapons, violation of state law, drugs, and etc. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir. The assault and the deadly weapon, it came after it was self-defense. I was almost beat to death. That's where that came from.
The parole board records don't delve into Drummond's entire disciplinary record while in prison. In 2023, these photos were reportedly posted to Drummond's Facebook page, showing him with premium liquor, streaming devices, video games, and multiple phones. Drummond also picked up contraband, attempted murder, drug, and weapon charges during the end of his sentence. The parole board records confirm he's a member of the Vice Lords gang, and he only finished the 10th grade. He was tried as an adult after this video shows him at 17 years old in a gas station in Jackson, pointing a pistol at a clerk.
What did you have?
It was a BB gun. Honestly, I was on Xanax that night. I don't even remember doing anything.
Not using any other drugs or alcohol around that time?
No, just Xanax, alcohol, and marijuana.
All right, and then you've got 13 counts of retaliation for past action. Tell me about this.
Yes, sir. After my trial, after I was convicted, I was on the phone with my dad, and I made a comment that I would be out soon, and that I had the jury's information.
So you made threats to go after them?
Yes, sir.
The district attorney in Jackson sent this letter opposing an early release, stating in part, he has no desire for rehabilitation and is not capable of living among society. The parole board voted unanimously against an early release.
This hearing is now.
Why would they vote against that? He seems rehabilitated, if anyone ever was rehabilitated, because, well, he's a real brainiac. When he went in for this one, he also attacked another fellow inmate in prison because, hey, why not do it when you're on camera? But let's see what this is.
I'm not guilty of what they charged me with.
He is accused of murdering 4 people, but in an exclusive interview, Austin Drummond says he's innocent. Good evening. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. Drummond spoke
back
to News Channel 5 from jail, saying he did not commit the crimes that he is charged with. Those crimes, the shocking murders of 4 family members, Adriana Williams, James Wilson, Courtney Rose, and Braden Williams. They were all found dead in Lake County last month. Drummond was named as the suspect and caught about a week later in Jackson.
As Nick Barris tells us, Drummond claims to have been working as a confidential informant for law enforcement.
Austin Drummond is locked up without bond in the Obion County Jail. He's charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. A source gave him my cell phone number, and he called us to talk about his case.
I'm innocent of what I'm charged with, yes, sir. I'm not an innocent man, but I'm not guilty of what they charged me with.
Of course, you would expect a man potentially facing the death penalty to say that.
I offered to take a polygraph.
The 28-year-old Drummond admits to a long criminal record dating back to his teenage years and was a one-time member of the Vice Lords gang. But he says he did not kill Adriana Williams, Braden Williams, Matthew James Wilson, or Courtney Rose, whose bodies were all found in Lake County on July 29th.
I had no reason to hurt these people. They were my girlfriend's family who became my family. I took Adriana to the hospital to have her baby. I helped teach Braden to drive. Matthew was like a little brother to me, man.
Drummond was on the run for several days after the murders. Locals in Northwest Tennessee feared a killer was on the loose, and it made national headlines. If Drummond didn't murder the 4 victims, then why?
Was he walking around with a pew-pew in his hand, trying to get into that door? Yeah, that's not sus at all.
Why did he run?
I did not handle the situation right by running, but I was afraid.
And here's why. Drummond says after another arrest earlier this year, he cut a deal with the Lake County District Attorney, FBI, and ATF to work as a confidential informant.
During my time working for them, I helped uncover drug dealers selling multiple kilos at a time of cocaine, also drug traffickers delivering pounds of meth. We identified dirty law enforcement and correctional personnel and tapped Vice Lord leadership phones.
Drummond says he learned that his cover had been blown the day of the killings, and that is why he ran.
I was afraid because I knew bad things happened. And I was afraid that because I was an informant, things would go wrong. Things would happen to me.
We did ask the district attorney about Drummond's claim that he was working as a confidential informant. The DA said he could not comment at this time. We should learn much more about the case against Drummond at a preliminary hearing that's scheduled for early September.
And that's what we are waiting for today, the preliminary hearing. It was supposed to have started 5 minutes ago, but it's not. No, Zach, it's not snot. It's not. Like, it is not. Oh, maybe it's because...
If at any time you feel that you cannot sit.
It's just Court TV who is behind. But sorry, Helen, there is no closed caption on this one because it's live from the court feed. That's why Court TV is a little behind. But it just started.
That we noticed over the day. Appreciate the folks from our law enforcement who are here today providing security for the building. Appreciate each of you, and your efforts have not gone unnoticed. I want to say that first and foremost. Second off, I want to just make aware that we are set for today for preliminary hearing in the matter of Mr. Austin Robert Drummond on the 4 counts that he had. I'm sorry, on the 5 counts that he has before the court, the 5 cases with 2 counts each. I want to take this time just to go over.
If he was an informant, his defense will bring it out there, yes, because they can't hide that.
With everyone, we're going to have some statements and some evidence that may be entered today that may be difficult to hear, may be upsetting to hear. If at any time you feel that you cannot sit and listen to the proceedings, I would ask that you step outside. If anyone does have to step outside, that's fine. I don't mind that. If a disruption is made, then you will be removed from the courtroom. And if further disruptions are made, the court has the right to hold you in contempt of court, or the sheriff's office has the right to issue charges for disorderly conduct. I don't want to see that happen, and I don't think that we're going to have that happen. But I just have to give everybody that notice prior to this hearing starting. Mr. Goodman, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
General Hayes, good afternoon. Mr. Huffman, Mr. Mason, good afternoon. Mr. Drummond, good afternoon, sir. What are we proceeding on first? Because I know there is a motion before the court, and also we have a preliminary hearing. So how do we want to take that up?
We'll just do the preliminary hearing first.
Okay. Does the state have its list of who it intends to call today during the preliminary?
Yes, sir.
Court audio isn't too low. It's the feed I have, but I am boosting it now. I had it at boost 2, boost 4. I can't tell court to turn up their audio. You will have to live with the hissing because the booster. And again, I can't tell anyone to go to microphones, and I can't fix audio. So we don't have to yell at me all the time to tell me to do this or that. I'll try and boost it as much as possible.
Okay.
The state intends to call Officer Corey Hussey, Deputy Hunter Brady, Special Agent Special Agent Justin Tubbs, Special Agent Scott Lawson, and Brandon Wheeler, Officer Wheeler.
Okay. Anyone else, General?
No, I think that's it.
Is anyone from the defense going to be called for as a witness? Okay. Folks, if your name has been called, and I don't know all of you who they just called out, I know some of them, but for those of you whose name was just called, you will have to step outside the courtroom while the others are testifying. Rule 615 of the Tennessee Rules of Evidence says that witnesses must be sequestered for that purpose. You cannot discuss the case with one another prior to your testimony. Who's the first witness for the state going to be?
Officer Hussey.
Okay, Officer Hussey. Everyone else who was called as a witness would step out at this time, and when we are ready for your testimony, we will have a deputy come outside to retrieve you at that time.
Yeah, our Special Agent Tubbs is on the designated party.
Yes. The court will take note that Special Agent Tubbs is the prosecuting witness designated by the state of Tennessee. Mr. Huffman, in general, I know y'all's normally my routine is in preliminaries. I'm happy to hear from either party on any opening, but if everybody wants to just proceed to direct examination, I'm fine either way. I just wanted to kind of get the lay of the land from y'all.
Yes, the state will waive the opening
We'll proceed then to direct examination. I do want to make sure I've officially put this on the record. We are here.
Yes, he had his bond denied because he was already out on bail in another case. Plus, he just spent 10. Well, the paper says 10 years, but the report said 13 years in prison for an aggravated assault. He ain't getting bail, and he ran from the popo for, I believe, they were looking for him for 4 days or something like that before they picked him up. So he ain't getting no bail.
In the matter, I should have done that first. I apologize. We are here in the matter of State of Tennessee versus Austin Robert Drummond in cases number 25 CR 48067, 48068, 48069, and 48071. 25 CR again in those documents. Your first witness, General.
Your State of Tennessee calls
Officer Hussey. If you please come to the witness stand, sir. If you would, Ms. Jessica is going to place you under oath at this time.
He's only sir for testimony you're about to do with the truth to help you God.
Thank you, sir.
And Marissa says the audio is good now. I don't know if it's because I have a new PC. It's just really loud on my end, but I can live with it. I'll just pop my earworms out if it gets too loud. But I have audio boosted to level 4 now. Now they are beginning to give their testimony. Let me know if it's okay, the level, or you need it put down on 2, or how we're going.
And Officer Hussey, be sure if you would to speak into the microphone. We've had these things kind of messed with and fixed in a much better way, and I appreciate our IT folks for that. But,
I'm always negative,
speak
so
into
it's
the microphone clearly because we are recording. Okay, thank you.
All right. Would you state your name, please?
Corey Hussey.
And where do you work?
I'm a park ranger with Tennessee State Parks.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure that didn't totally kill us here. It didn't.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Sorry, guys.
All
Thank you,
right.
Sherry.
Could you tell me again who you work for?
I'm a park ranger for Tennessee State Parks.
Okay. And how long have you had that position?
I took this position in June 28th,
Should we
June
kick
28th,
Zach?
2025.
I'm sorry.
2025.
Okay, June 28th, 2025. Do you recall if you were working on the day of July 29th of 2025?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And as a part of your job, do you routinely patrol state parks and specifically around the River Lake area?
Yes.
Okay. Is that something that's just part of your duties that you do that?
Yes.
How many parks are there that you have to actually patrol daily?
One park, Wilbur Lake State Park.
Okay. Are there individual smaller parks within the full Lake Park area?
Yes, sir. There are individual units. They're all attached to Wilbur Lake State Park.
Okay. Is there one on Carrington Road in Lake County?
So the Carrington Road location is state land managed by TWRA. However, we operate programming and tours from an area on Carrington Road.
Okay. So it's not actually a park, right?
No, sir.
It's just an area that's owned by the state and it's actually used by the state.
Yes, sir.
Is that area actually near the Northwest Correctional Complex?
Yes, sir.
Just an estimate, how far would you say it is from that area?
Maybe a mile.
And is that here in Lake County, Tennessee?
Yes,
That area that we're talking about on Carrington Road?
yes, sir.
While you were patrolling that area on July 29th, 2025, did you notice anything unusual or anything that caught your attention that day?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell me what that was?
So while patrolling down Carrington Road, shortly after 1 o'clock, I found 3 vehicles parked on the left side of Carrington Road.
Okay. Do you know what type of vehicles they were?
One was a black Dodge Charger, one was a Chevrolet Traverse, and the other was a Nissan Rogue.
Okay. Did you see anyone out there, any individuals standing around the vehicles or inside the vehicles?
I did not see them.
What did you do after you noticed the vehicles? Did you stop, get out? Did you do anything?
I proceeded past the vehicles when I was making entry down Carrington Road, then I turned around and proceeded back out from that location.
Okay. As you came back out of the location, were all the vehicles still there?
No, sir.
Okay. Which vehicle was no longer there?
The Nissan Rogue had left in the time it took me to turn around.
Okay. Did you notice anything about the Nissan Rogue that was unusual for this area?
It had California tag.
I want to hand you this photograph. You would look at that photograph. Did you recognize either one of those 2 vehicles in that photograph?
The Nissan Rogue with the California tag would be the similar make and model as what I saw.
Okay. Is that vehicle similar to the one that you saw there that day?
Yes.
When you turned around and came back, was the vehicle leaving at that point, or was it already gone?
It had already left.
I love the judge said, use the microphone. And as you can all see, these microphones they have, I'm pointing at the screen where you can't see it. The microphone is a direction. It's kind of like my microphone. I need to speak into it. If I just move it over here, my audio goes way down. This is a directional mic he has as well. He just needs to do this, and we could hear everything he says, but instead, it kind of looks like Zach when his wife asked if he's ready, and he says, as ready as I ever be.
Could you tell anything about if it was left hurriedly, or could you tell?
In the time it took me to turn around, it had already left from where I can see it. There's quite a bit of dust in the air. As I proceeded out on Carrington Road, there are several straightaways, and at no point in time did I see the vehicle. Would indicate it left in a hurry.
Would you make that photograph with an exhibit your testimony, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Huffman, have you no objection? Court will show that this be entered as State's Exhibit Number 1.
Officer Hussey, after you saw that,
How much did he get made fun of in school? Officer Hussey. I hope his name is not Richard. There is no closed captions, as I mentioned before.
vehicle leave and the other two vehicles that were still there, did you see anyone around at that point, around the vehicles?
No, I did not see any.
Did you make a report about that?
I wrote notes to myself, but I did not file any report at that time.
Did you later tell someone about that?
Yes, sir.
And who was that?
My manager, Doug Roberts.
What made you tell him about that incident?
Later that evening, he messaged me that there had been an incident on Carrington Road.
Okay. And at that point, what did you tell him?
I immediately called him and informed him that I had been there earlier that day and had seen those vehicles.
And was that information passed on to local law enforcement?
Yes, sir. I shortly received a call from the Sheriff's Department along with TBI and shared that knowledge with them.
And after that, did you produce all of your findings to a report?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You stated that when you first saw the vehicles on Carrington Road, that you drove past them and then turned around.
Yes, sir.
How long did it take you to go down to the area that you were turning around and then get back to where the vehicle was?
Only a few minutes, less than 5 minutes, probably 2 to 3 minutes.
2 or 3 minutes. Okay. Did you notice anything about the vehicle? Were any of the doors open or anything like that?
When I was coming past the vehicle the first time, the black Dodge Charger's trunk was open.
What about when you came back?
The trunk had been closed at that time.
So you passed 3 vehicles, the trunk is up. Within 2 to 3 minutes, you come back, the trunk is closed, and the Nissan Rogue is gone.
Yes, sir.
When you get back to the road, you see no signs.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're on past this.
Yes, sir. Mr. Huffman? Yes, sir.
Officer Hussey, were you able to see any individuals on scene? Did you go past? You notice any individuals?
No, sir.
So when you drove back by, same thing?
No individuals at that time.
That's it.
Yes, sir. Can you redirect
Ponytail.
Officer Hussey, we thank you for being here, sir. You're releasing your subpoena. You can have a seat here, or you're free to go, whichever you'd like to do, sir. Thank you very much. Next.
Statement called Deputy Hunter Brady.
Yes, sir. Deputy Brady.
Maybe Tom Brady got a new job now. He's not throwing hand decks anymore. Is this a parody? In Denmark, back when I was a kid, we always said you had to be from Jutland and you had to have a snot stopper to be a police officer. Is this parody? Hey, good praxis. Welcome, welcome. And please enjoy chat. Stay away from Zach. He is our special needs chatter that we just smile and wave at him. Yeah, it's just Super Troopers. It's like a parody of how if a cartoon made a cop, it would be this guy.
Good afternoon. Would you state your name, please?
Hunter Brady.
And Deputy Brady, where do you work?
Lake County Sheriff's Department.
And how long have you been working there?
Been here a little over a year now.
Okay. Do you remember if you were working on July 29th of 2025?
I was.
Okay. And was that early day or was that in the evening?
We've been in the evening.
Okay. Was that the shift you typically work?
That's correct.
Had you received any information earlier in the day about a baby being abandoned in another county?
I have not.
Had you heard anything about that?
Just on what I've seen on social media.
Okay. But you had seen that earlier that
Yeah.
day? Okay. Did you know at that time who the parents of the baby was that was dropped off or anything about that?
No, I did not.
Did you receive a call later in that evening that vehicles that may have belonged to the baby's family had been located?
I did.
And who did you get that call from?
One of the family members of, I believe one of the victims involved.
Did they call you directly or did they call dispatch?
They called our dispatch.
And you were dispatched to that area?
That's correct.
Where did you go? Where was the area that you responded to?
Carrington Road.
Is Carrington Road in Lake County?
It is.
Once you got to Carrington Road, what did you do?
Cool. So when I first got there, we spoke with.
Thank you, Valhalla. I said he is deceptively young looking. He has gray hair. Oh, and maybe Marissa says this. There's closed captions on this one. Nope. Nope, no closed captions on that one either. I just think he looks young. I think he's older.
With the female caller, she advised that she found her family vehicles parked back on the dead end road, which is halfway down, and made my way down there and located the white Chevy Traverse and the Dodge Charger.
Was anybody else with you? Any other officers?
Yeah, there's a Tiptonville officer, Officer Morrow, and Deputy Karen Gross.
Did y'all all arrive?
Why does it have subtitles for Marissa but not for me? No. Sorry.
At the same time?
Yeah, they were probably a minute behind me.
All right, so you proceed down Carrington Road, you find a black Charger, Dodge Charger, and a white AAA Traverse vehicle. Right, okay. Was anyone in the vehicles?
No, vehicles were vacant.
Did you run any registration on the vehicles as soon as they belonged to?
I was approaching the vehicle as why Deputy Gross started running the registration on the black Charger.
Okay. Were you able to determine who that black Charger belonged to?
No, not at the time.
Or at a later time?
At a later time.
Do you know who that was? Do you know if it was Braden Williams?
I've never received information from dispatch. She's the one that ran the registration.
Fair enough. So you didn't see anyone in the vehicles at the time. Did you start to look around the vehicles or look in the vehicles?
Yeah, so I first looked in the passenger side of the vehicle.
Which one?
Of the white Chevy Traverse.
Okay. Did you notice anything when you looked inside?
Yeah, red substance that I believe it was blood, all in the passenger side front and the passenger side rear.
Okay. What'd you do at that point?
Advised the other officers on scene that we had either an active situation going on or something had happened and we needed to search the area.
Okay. And so did you start to do that?
Yeah.
Tell me what happened.
I walked around the vehicle a little bit and then I noticed a shoe sitting off the trail that was directly behind the vehicle and it had some blood on it. So that was the direction we determined we needed to go. And I went off in the woods when I located two bodies in the directly behind the white Chevy Traverse.
Okay. Did you, before you found the body, did you notice if there were any shell casing around the vehicles or anything like
No,
that?
not yet.
Did you later find that there were?
Yes. After we located two bodies, we started taking everything off and made our way back up. And that's when we located multiple shell casings around the vehicles.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to the first two bodies that you located. Tell me how they were when you found them.
The male was laying on his back under his mother, and there was a tarp over the top of him.
What was the tarp? Do you know what it's made of?
I do have a
It was
mustache.
like the camo nylon material, the mesh material.
Were both bodies completely covered with that material?
Yeah, except for they had maybe their hand exposed on the side.
What'd you do at that point?
That's when, started communicating with the officers. Hey, we needed to secure the scene, start a crime log, and then look for and gather evidence.
Okay. Did you secure the scene at that time?
Yes.
What did you do to secure the scene?
We taped it off, cleared the area, and, contacted our supervisors so they could contact TBI.
Okay. All right. After finding those two bodies, were there ever any other bodies discovered?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
It was after Dyer County arrived. One of the Dyer County deputies noticed a shoe on the south side of the road, and I was standing with him. And I noticed some red pools where there could be blood, and it was just kind of shined in the woods. And you could see two more bodies under tarps.
Okay. Now, was this in the same area as the original two that you found?
No, this would have been south of them, across the gravel roadway. It was in the same area, but it was.
But how close were they to one another before? You had the two initial bodies and then two others. How far apart were
Probably like 60 feet.
Were those bodies covered as well?
They were.
Same type material?
Same type material tarp.
Okay. Were you able to identify who any of them were at that time?
No, not at that time.
Did you have any other involvement in this case?
I did not.
Come on,
Yes, sir.
That's the witness.
Yes, sir. Mr. Huffman?
Question, Deputy Brady. Okay, so you were dispatched in this area, carried your own, correct?
That's correct.
You remember about what time that would be?
It was roughly 8 o'clock, I believe.
Okay. Are there dispatch logs reporting times?
Yeah, that's correct.
When you arrived on scene, you said there was one typical officer and another officer on scene?
Like County Sheriff's Deputy.
Okay. When you arrived on scene and you noticed these things, you said that you secured the scene after you discovered the bodies, is that correct?
That's correct.
The first set of bodies, yes. How many total officers were on scene at that point?
When we found the first set of bodies, there was just 3. No, 4, because a trooper had showed up right as we were entering.
And you recall which officers those were?
Hayden, Trooper Hayden.
And did you find any reports or anything like that?
I did.
Were those names located in that report as well?
Yes.
All right. You said when you were on scene, you secured the scene by taping it off?
That's correct.
Right. And how long after arriving on scene and discovering bodies did you do that?
It was within minutes.
All right. And contact your supervisors and they contact your TBI, is that correct?
That's correct.
Were you wearing your body-worn camera at that time?
I was.
Was it active at that time?
Yes.
Was that footage backed up?
Yes.
Available for discovery?
Yeah.
Were you in a marked vehicle?
I was.
Does that have a dash cam?
It does not.
The other officers, do you know if they had body cams or dash cams?
They have body cams with dash cams.
To your knowledge, were those active as well?
To my knowledge.
And when you were securing the scene, were you doing any evidence collection?
We was marking evidence as we were finding it. Yeah.
Did you remove any items?
No.
Did you take any photos at that time?
I did not.
Yes, sir. Any ready, Direct General? Deputy Brady, thank you, sir. You're releasing your subpoena. You are either free to go or free to stay, whichever you'd like to do. Your next witness, General.
Can I call Officer Brandon Wheeler?
Officer Wheeler.
Sorry, I'm just going to try something because it might have been because I have a new computer. It didn't show. Nope.
Please come to the witness stand, sir. And if you would, sir, please raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear for the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God?
I swear. Thank you, sir. Be sure to speak in the microphone.
Will you state your name?
Detective Brandon Wheeler.
And Detective Wheeler, where do you work?
I work at the Dyersburg Police Department.
And were you involved in this investigation to the case of why we're here today?
Yes.
Okay. What were you asked to do?
I'm not sure if Special Agent Harbor reached out to us or if we reached out offering assistance, but we were trying to identify a vehicle.
Okay. And how are you trying to do that?
So we have 2 LPR systems. There's a Motorola LPR system and the flock camera system, and we were utilizing those to try to identify a a Rogue, Nissan Rogue.
What is the LGR?
License plate.
And was there anything particular about the Nissan Rogue that you were looking for?
Yeah, this one in question specifically had a California plate on it, which is not typical for our area.
And the city of Dyersburg had these two license plate readers, right?
There's more than two, but there are several in the city.
Those systems?
Yes.
Lock and Motorola?
Yes.
And you have the ability to access those, right?
I do.
And can you access any other ones?
We can access other cameras that other agencies have shared with us.
Okay. And did you do that as part of this investigation?
Yes.
Who else did you access?
I accessed, there's several thousand agencies that openly share their cameras with us, so we can search all of them all at once.
Okay. And aside from Dyersburg, who else did you end up searching as it relates to this investigation?
The Jackson cameras.
I'm gonna hand you up some photographs.
Would be really nice if you put it on that big screen right behind him.
Okay. What is it?
It's a picture of the silver Nissan Rogue with California plate.
All right. And what system did that come from? Block or Motorola?
This is from the Flock system.
And is that in Jackson or Dyersburg?
Jackson.
And what time is that?
11:32 a.m. on the 29th of July.
And do you make that an exhibit to your testimony today?
Yes.
No, we have to make that statement with it too.
No objection.
No objection.
That's state exhibit 2.
And Officer Wheeler, do you recognize what's also been handed up to you now?
I do.
And you recognize that one as well?
I do.
Okay, and what is it?
It is a picture from the Motorola system in Dyersburg, capturing the vehicle going northbound Highway 78.
And that's the same road with the California license plate?
It is.
It's the same license plate as we saw in the first picture?
It is.
Okay. And what time of the day is that one captured?
This one was captured at 12:39 p.m. on July 20th.
And where is that one located? Where is that particular camera located at in Dyersburg?
That particular camera is located at the intersection of Lake Road and Radio Road, right in front of Love's.
Could you repeat that again? Where it was intersection of where?
Yeah. Lake Road and Radio Road.
Radio Road. Okay, I'm sorry.
Between Love's and Cracker Barrel.
And do you make that one exhibit to your testimony as well?
I do.
Okay.
Show this marked as State's Exhibit 3.
And then let's go back to the second picture that I actually handed up to you. You recognize that one as well?
I do.
Okay. And is it from the same camera that you just identified as the last picture?
It is from the same set of cameras facing a different direction.
Okay, which direction does that camera face?
This one is facing southbound towards the city.
And what does it do?
It shows a picture of the same Nissan Rogue, California, heading back in towards Dyersburg.
And what's the date and time on that?
This picture was taken at 2:15 p.m. on July 29th.
2025.
Correct.
All right, you make that one exhibit to your testimony as well?
I do.
You're already asking that. Thank you.
Okay. Absolutely. Show this marked as State's Exhibit number 4.
One more photo then.
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize that one as well?
I do.
And what system did it come from?
This is from the Flock system.
Is that in Jackson or Dyersburg?
Jackson.
And what date and time captures that one?
This picture was taken at 4:16 p.m. July 29th, 2025.
And does it depict the same road as we've seen in the previous one?
Yes, same road, same license plate.
Do you make that exhibit to your testimony as well?
I do.
And we'd ask to make that statement exhibit 5. No objection.
Show this marked as State's Exhibit number 5.
You can have that passed back to Officer Wheeler before you take our record tomorrow. Officer Wheeler, on that last photo, was there anything of significance that you noticed?
Yes, this is a photo taken from the front angle of the vehicle, and you can see the driver in this photo.
Okay. And can you describe the driver?
The driver appears to be a white male, has a goatee, and looks very similar to the lieutenant.
And is there anything that you noticed about the vehicle in that photograph?
Yes, so the vehicle in this photograph appears to be much dirtier, especially around the wheels and the rims, than it was previously earlier in the day.
You're on passing.
Yes, sir. Mr. Huffey.
Just a few questions. Detective Wheeler, so you were asked to look for a Nissan Rogue with California plates, is that correct?
I don't remember the exact parameters, but I believe we were looking for a Rogue with California plates.
Did you have a plate number?
No, sir.
Once you located the vehicle in the photos that you presented and the evidence, did you continue looking for other Nissan Rogues with California tags?
Yes.
Did you find any more?
No.
He was driving the Rogue, and I think the other cars were other family members that they found. It seems, again, it seems like they have a pretty good case against him, but again, we haven't really heard them placing him at the scene. We just heard they found the bodies, they saw some cars in the woods, and they can see a guy on surveillance cameras. But we still need to put the pew-pew in his hands at the site. I know he have had multiple pew-pews confiscated, I believe, at least one, maybe two. But they don't know if that was the one who did it. So I don't know if we're going to get any testimony about that one. This is so weird. It makes no sense. Sue, you're not that new to true crime. You know it never makes any sense.
And the only photo that was Exhibit 5 was the front view of the vehicles. There are other ones from the rear, is that correct?
I don't remember exactly, but I think they were all from the rear.
And then the one on Exhibit 5, which is.
Yes.
That's all.
Any redirect, John? Detective Wheeler, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. You're free to go, free to stay, whichever you choose to do, sir. Your next witness, General.
Special Agent Scott Lawson.
Agent Lawson.
He looks weird. He kind of looks like a. He kind of looks like he doesn't know what's going on or something. Maybe not. Like maybe he's been touched with the same ailment that Zach has, the sub 50 IQ. But he just looks weird. Well, that wasn't nice. Only Zach is sub 50.
Agent Lawson, if you please come to the witness stand, sir. And before you have a seat, if you would, sir, please raise your right hand.
You solemnly swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth.
I do. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
State your name.
My name is Scott Lawson.
And do you work for the Federal Bureau of Investigation?
I do.
Okay, what is your current assignment with the FBI?
I'm a special agent on the Safe Streets Task Force.
Okay. And were you involved in the investigation as to?
Hey, Lita. Bridget asked, how did he know all these people? He was banging Rose's sister, who's a prison guard. So that's how he knew them, because he spent 10 or 13 years in prison and was released last year and was apparently hooking up with his prison guard girlfriend, who is the sister to Rose, one of the victims. That's how he knew them. Method acting can take a toll on the old noggin. Yeah, and doesn't they say that there's no easier place to get drugs than in prison? You have a little gift for me. Oh, isn't that nice? Mother has made some good arguments as to why there is questions if he was responsible. Yeah, I haven't seen the smoking gun both figuratively and literally, but maybe we'll get that in this hearing. But it's early in the case. Again, it happened in July, so this is very early on.
This homicide in Lake County?
I was.
What role did you play?
Most of my experience is in the command post.
Dreamer, people are always rude to me. I think it's because of Jamie. People are sitting there saying WWJD and say, well, Jamie would yell at Baker, so let's do that.
Assisting with cell phone analysis from tolls, working with timelines and video review to assist in the exploitation of cell phone data.
Okay. And have you received training on cell phone data?
I have.
What kind of training have you received?
I'm a member of the FBI's child abduction team, and we get yearly training with our cellular analysis survey team. That's the experts at FBI headquarters with analyzing cell phone data, geolocation data. So when we deploy with the child rapid deployment team, we are consistently working in partnership with the CAS team to analyze cell phone data and kind of.
Maria, you're old to true crime. You know people are not the smartest criminals in the world. So we don't know enough to say that. But again, it's not the biggest surprise I have had in cases so far.
Each other back and forth through further investigations.
Okay. And is that what you did here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What specific cell phone data did you look at?
We started off our investigation by doing a deep analysis on the tolls of the victims' cellular telephones. When I say tolls, I'm speaking of the incoming and outgoing calls from the victims' phones to include records of incoming and outgoing text messages.
Okay. And when you did that, did you notice anything in particular?
Yes, we worked off a theory due to many of the victims arriving at the scene where they were murdered at various times, right? So they didn't all just appear there together. So we worked under the theory that someone must have organized a meeting or at least some type of reason to get the 4 victims to the crime scene. So as we were looking at the victims' tolls, we were looking for any unknown or unusual cell phone activity, particularly any cell phone number that would have contacted any of the victims consistent with maybe asking them to come to this location.
Okay. And did a number stand out?
There was one number that was immediately interesting. It showed up on the cell phone analysis at approximately 6:38 that morning, 6:38 a.m. That number was unknown as far as the tolls that we had analyzed to that point of known numbers of associates of the victims. In addition, another thing that we do when we're working these investigations is try to determine when the victims' phones stop taking calls, right? We're trying to work on a timeline. We're trying to narrow everything down so that our cell phone data is strong as possible. We noticed from the 4 victims' phones that none of the victims answered a call or made a call after 7:01 a.m. So knowing where they were located and when their phone stopped answering calls, we knew that whatever had happened to them had most likely happened right around or just before 7:01 a.m.
And the number that stood out, was that 731-345-7426?
It was.
And so prior to 6:38 that morning, it wasn't on any tolls of the victims.
Right. We subpoenaed the number and ascertained that phone had just came on for the first time ever that morning, and that it had been purchased the night before at a Walmart in Dyersburg, Tennessee.
And so what else did you do next?
We asked for tolls for that cell phone number to ascertain who, at that time, we could only see when it had called one of the victims' phones, which we had their tolls. So we now asked for the tolls of the number ending in 7426. One of the first things we saw when those tolls came in is that at 7:01 was the last call with one of the victims, Adriana Williams, and at 7:25 it was calling persons associated with the rental of the Nissan Rogue car that was in question. So we knew pretty confidently that number was very interesting to us.
I'm sorry. Does anyone have any? So he's planning this. He's buying a burner, and he's dumb enough to hire to rent the car using that burner, so it's tied to him. But why would he unalive them? I know he was gang related, but there's no signs that the victims were gang related. Seems really weird that he just smart dumb stuff. Yeah, this that day you might see electricity dip a little bit.
Then asked for the cell phone company to provide geolocation records for the cell phone 731-345-7426, and immediately we ascertained that number had been at the crime scene and had started traveling south from the crime scene at approximately 7:24 a.m. As I mentioned earlier, my job is to combine the phone, the video reviews, and the timelines to make it tell a story, to help it assist in telling a story. We also had ascertained that Matt Wilson's vehicle was also going south from the crime scene, passing a camera at approximately 7:25 a.m. And the cell phone data put this newly identified cell phone number passing that same camera at a time consistent with Matt Wilson's truck going southbound.
And Mr. Wilson's truck is a late 80s F-150?
That's correct.
Can I ask one thing? I'm sorry. When you say passes the camera, are you referring to the camera that, where was that camera?
I should have been more specific. Yes, sir. So
I apologize.
no, absolutely. There was a fire station on Highway 78 just north of the main intersection here, headed towards the crime scene. And that was the video that caught the F-150 traveling southbound at 7:25 a.m.
There's been some testimony about cameras, and I was trying to make sense of which one was.
I was singing the same line in my head.
Yes, sir.
All right, Agent Lawson, you had mentioned that 7426 called a number associated with the rental. Can you explain that?
Yes, due to some good work performed previously, there was a Nissan Rogue that had been identified that had been rented in Jackson, Tennessee the day before and picked up on the morning of the homicide. This vehicle was captured on license plate readers going northbound towards the crime scene and then going southbound away from the crime scene at a time later in the afternoon. In addition, there was some identification of the vehicle from a park ranger being seen at the location. The investigative team followed up with the rental agreement and with Enterprise Rental Car to learn about the who had rented this vehicle and identified a Michelle Obelis, I may not pronounce the last name correctly, Obelis, as being the renter. As that investigation continued, she had identified that the vehicle had been given to Austin Drummond and rented on Austin Drummond's behalf.
Okay. And did she have any connection to the defendant, Mr. Drummond?
Her boyfriend, Giovanni Thomas, was closely associated with Austin, and she was also closely associated with an individual named Tanaka Brown. Our phone toll analysis identified that at 7:25, as that number 731-345-7426 was leaving the crime scene, it was jumping on a three-way conference call with Tanaka Brown and Giovanni Thomas.
Okay. And then what happened next?
So obviously at this point, we were extremely interested in just learning everything we can about the user of this telephone number. We learned that upon departing the crime scene, it traveled to an area in Dyersburg commonly known as Bikini Bottoms. Bikini Bottoms used to be like an off-road recreation vehicle area for ATVs and such. When the phone...
Wallstrom, why have you never taken me to Bikini Bottoms? I know Valhalla has something against taking me to the mouse ear, but you are a man of culture. You could take me out and show me the sights. Yeah, Bikini Bottoms sounds like a fun place.
Phone arrived at a point of interest. As this phone is traveling south towards Bikini Bottom, one of the victim's phones is traveling in concert with that phone, so that was very interesting to us as well. Both of those phones got to the Bikini Bottom area, and the phone 731-345-7426 arrived at Bikini Bottom at approximately 7:44 a.m. and stayed in there.
If this goes to trial, I can't do a full trial where they're talking about going to Bikini Bottoms without getting some really creative thumbnails on it.
Area to approximately 9:04 a.m. Based on what we do with violent crime investigations and the knowledge base that we have, we theorize that something as far as getting rid of evidence or weapons or something had happened at that Bikini Bottom area.
And in fact, did it?
It did. There was, based on the phone data and the investigation in whole, search parties were organized to go to Bikini Bottom. On the day that these phone tolls were being worked, they initially found a Tennessee driver's license for Matthew Wilson. And the next day, we found Mr. Wilson's vehicle down the ravine there at Bikini Bottom.
And that's the late 80s F-150 truck?
Yes, sir.
Did 7426 stay at Bikini Bottom?
It stayed there till about 9:04 a.m. And then it began a southeastwardly travel towards Jackson, Tennessee.
Okay. And did it eventually reach Jackson?
It did.
Do you know what time?
I'll refer to my notes for a more specific time. We saw it arriving in the Jackson, Tennessee area at approximately 10:04 a.m.
And where did the phone go while it was in Jackson?
The phone first travels to an area consistent with the Clarion Hotel in Jackson, Tennessee. It then moves towards the Cherry Grove Apartments, and then eventually towards back up towards Dyersburg.
Okay. Let's stay in Jackson for a minute. Was there any significance to the Clarion Hotel?
Through the investigation, the Clarion was identified as a place where Austin Drummond resided regularly and potentially used as a place to organize criminal activity.
And was it vehicle at Clarion?
The information from the investigation is that his personal vehicle, the Audi, was at the Clarion. Mr. Tanaka Brown who picked him up at Bikini Bottom, drove him back to his vehicle at Clarion, and then followed him to Cherry Grove to depart, to leave the Audi sedan.
Was there any significance to the Cherry Grove apartment?
Cherry Grove Apartments is where Mr. Drummond's girlfriend, Caitlin Speed, resided. The investigation revealed that when his vehicle was departed at the Cherry Grove apartment complex, that he ascertained some cleaning style brushes at the apartment.
And you said after that it started moving back north towards Dyersburg?
There's a little time with it still being in Jackson, but by 11:55 a.m., the phone began a northwestern travel towards Bells, Tennessee.
And did it reach Dyersburg?
We have the phone in conjunction with the license plate readers being in Dyersburg at 12:39 p.m. and by 1:04 p.m. being back north of Tiptonville near the crime scene.
And did it stay at the crime scene very long?
The phone appeared to stay, and just one note of reference for an education and this geolocation stuff with phones. You get these records either when a phone call is placed, a text message is placed, or some type of data transfer between the phone and the network. So Instagram sends you a notification, or your bank pops up and says you overdrafted. Like any kind of data transfer, you'll get a location data. But a person could be at a place a couple minutes before, and we would not see that due to if there was no data transmission, could stay at the place a couple minutes after. These timeframes are based on a call being made or a data transfer happening. So the last data transfer we saw near the crime scene was at 1:14 p.m.
All right, and then what happened?
1:38, we started seeing timing advanced data southbound from the crime scene. Timing advanced data is how a cellular tower communicates with the handheld phone device. So in a nutshell, the cell phone towers that you see have 3 sectors that cover a 360-degree circle. Each of these sectors cover approximately 120 degrees. When the phone is on the network, it's constantly sending some type of signal to the phone to determine how far away it is from that network. And the primary reason is a business sense from the phone company. They need to know which tower that phone should be using to have the strongest reception or the strongest data capability. So as that ping is going to that phone and coming back to that tower, if it's getting a little too far away or maybe a little closer to another tower, it'll tell it to start communicating with the stronger tower. So what we can do in law enforcement is we can ask to obtain that timing advanced data. And what that will do is say, when the phone was making that call or having that data transaction, what sector is it on, what 120 degree arc from the tower, and how long did it take that communication to go to the phone and back. So if you have 120 degrees and you're measuring the time from the tower to the phone and back, you're able to say that phone is somewhere in that arc that represents the amount of time from the tower and back.
So at 1:38, you start seeing timing advanced data moving south from the crime scene?
That's correct.
Okay. And what happened next?
Still tracking south towards Dyersburg through 2:14 p.m. Then we have another license plate reader hit in Dyersburg at 2:15 p.m. From the next timing advanced data of significance was from 2:32 to 2:35. It was tracking towards Friendship, where the 8-month-old Westland was dropped off. The phone hit a arc right over the house where the baby was dropped off at approximately 2:35 p.m.
Did you say the phone hit a arc? What does that mean?
So when the phone made either a data transfer or a phone call or a text message at 2:35, the phone communicated with the tower in an amount of time consistent that it had to be in an arc that covered the area of the home where the baby was dropped off.
Okay. So then what happened after that?
Around 2:35 to 2:55, the phone starts slowly going back northbound towards Dyersburg. We learned through our investigation about 3:11 p.m. that a 911 call was coming in about the child being in the yard. From 2:57 to 3:23, the phone starts tracking towards Bells, Tennessee, southeast again, eventually towards Jackson.
Okay. And eventually reach Jackson?
It does. At 3:39 p.m., the telephone number was back in the Jackson, Tennessee area. Of great significance to the investigative team. At 4:22 p.m., I'll try to explain this. It's a little bit difficult, but I mentioned the arcs where a phone can be in. So if you've got a sector pointing this way and you have an arc, But if you're in a city and you got multiple towers close, sometimes you'll see the arc on this tower and then the other tower facing back at you, you'll see its arc. So if you ever have two arcs intercept, you can not only say the phone is in the arc, you can say it's exactly, you can say with great confidence that the phone is where the two arcs intercept. You almost have to see that, but where the two arcs on two towers intersected from 4:22 p.m. to 6:06 p.m. was right over Austin Drummond's parents' home.
Then did he leave his parents' home?
Approximately 6:34, we saw the phone being in an area consistent with the Clarion Hotel again. And then at 8:44 p.m., we saw the phone being in an area consistent with being back at Cherry Grove Apartments at Caitlin Speed's residence. And then of note, the phone went off the network. Well, let me mention this. Of note, Lake County receives a 911 call at 8:17 p.m., kind of alerting the family and the public to what's going on. The phone went off the network for the last time ever at 8:44 p.m. So the phone was just turned on for that day and then was never used again after 8:44 p.m. Yes.
Mr. Huffman.
Yes. So your role in this case, essentially limited to the cell phone data analysis, correct?
The cell phone analysis and just assisting with interpretation in the command post of the timeline, the video, and the phone data.
I think you're a little behind, Marissa, if you just saw my SpongeBob-inspired thumbnail right now.
All right, now, actually, I understand what you're talking about with the triangulation regarding those things. The only way, so when you have cell phone data, my understanding is, also in your testimony, there are 120-degree arcs. You typically cell towers have three areas, constantly 360 degrees, correct?
That is correct.
Right. Now, in order to determine the position of the cell phone, you can tell which sector it's in, correct?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And unless you have the timing advance data, you do not have a distance from the tower, correct?
Right, that requires the timing advance.
Right. So if you do not have the timing advance data, you just know it's somewhere in that sector.
Yes.
And that could be large area, square miles, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. How many of these locations did you have timing advance data? For instance, you said there's one where the timing advance data gave you triangulation right there over Austin.
Yes.
Right. A couple times you testified that you had the cell phone at the crime scene.
Yes.
Was that given with the timing advance data, or was that just in the general area with the sector?
That was with timing advance data, but it would be with one arc. So it could be in a great length of area and an arc, but the arc was over the crime scene.
Okay, so you did have a sector and an arc.
Yes.
Well, that was my question. Did you ever determine who purchased that cell phone? You said it was purchased in Walmart and Dyersburg. Is there any evidence who purchased that phone?
We believe that two of the victims purchased the phone the night before.
Do you have any evidence that Austin Drummond purchased that phone?
Not him personally, no, sir.
In King Bottom, you said that you located the Tennessee license of Matthew Wilson as well as the truck and ravine, correct?
The truck was in a ravine. My understanding is the Tennessee DL was a paper copy, and it was not down the hill. It was up more in a kind of common area, but it wasn't down the ravine.
Were you involved in that search or processing that scene?
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes, sir. Any redirect, General?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Agent Lawson, thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Your next witness, General.
Special Agent Justin Tubbs.
Agent Tubbs, would you please come to the witness stand, sir?
If he was a CI, this would be a federal case. Well, if there is any indication that he might have been a CI, his defense will bring it up and will call on the FBI to come in and testify about it, I would believe. They don't have any witnesses coming in today, so it's only going to be state witnesses. But just looking at him, does he look like a guy you would trust running at underground or an undercover sting against? I can't even remember what it wasn't. The Latin Kings. It was I can't remember the gang, but I don't know. Sounds like one of those stories you make up when you're in trouble. Wasn't Rick's Trailers Ranch in Knoxville? I don't know who that is. That guy owns at least 0 dirt bikes, but he wish he had 3. Well, he has 3, but he doesn't own any of them, if you know what I mean.
If at any time any of the parties need to take a break, use the restroom, or do anything, just let me know. I'll be happy to do that. I just forgot to mention that. Agent Tubbs, raise your right hand, sir, please.
You solemnly swear upon the testimony you're about to give, the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you, sir.
Would you state your name, please?
Justin Tubbs,
And Special Agent Tubbs, where do you work, sir?
with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
How long have you worked there?
I've been there since 2018.
And do you recall, when you go on call or when you called on the evening of July 29th, 2000?
First of all, Tubbs is a black guy. Second of all, you don't have a neck. You look so unhealthy. You should be a cop in Massachusetts.
25.
I was called, yes.
You know what the purpose of that call was?
Lake County Sheriff's Department had been called to an area out by the prison where two vehicles I had received emails about the child that was missing that morning or that afternoon.
From Dyer County?
From Dyer County, and the parents of the child plus the grandmother and the uncle of the child. So whenever I was called, I was told their vehicles and the deceased victims had been found out at the end of Carrington Road.
Okay. Did you go to that scene?
I did.
Once you got to that scene, what did you see?
There were members of not only the Dyer County Sheriff's Department, Lake County Sheriff's Department, Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, because it was on their land. But there was also some special agents from the TBI who had also been called to come out and assist me. Once we got out there, I saw the black Charger that was known to be driven by Braden Williams, 15-year-old child, and a white Traverse that was known to be driven by Courtney Rose.
Was anyone inside the vehicle?
They were not.
What did you do after locating those vehicles?
We had Deputy Hunter Brady walk us around the scene as to what he had discovered whenever he first came upon the scene. And he showed us inside of the white Traverse, there was a red brownish stain substances that are consistent with what I know to be blood. And then he showed us.
Let's look at it. Do you know who that white Traverse belonged to?
It was known to be driven by Courtney Rose.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And if you drive down Carrington Road to the left where it kind of comes to a dead end, it's almost like a parking lot where these vehicles were parked. Behind that is whenever you start walking into the woods, same as what the deputy before was talking about. If you cross the road, you have wooded area in front of you. So the deputy took us to the.
So it happened at a public place. I thought it happened at the house. What? I missed that part.
Back of the parking lot and showed us where Braden Williams and Miss Courtney Rose were laying. They were covered with what looked like to be camouflage burlap.
This one, that's a police badge.
Which is commonly used with hunting that I know of. And then he walked us in front of the parking lot across the road where the bodies of Adjournment Williams and Matthew Wilson were at. And they were also covered with the same type of burlap.
Were you able to, were they all deceased?
They were.
That you arrived?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to determine the cause of death at that time? Or
They-
what, not a medical cause, but what appeared to be?
The injuries were consistent with gunshot wounds that all 4 victims had.
Were you able to determine how many gunshot wounds there were?
Not at the time.
Were you able to at a later time?
Yes, whenever the medical examiner out of Nashville called me with preliminary findings, he informed me of how many wounds and type of wounds that each victim had.
What type of wounds did Courtney Rose have?
She had been shot in the head
How many times?
at least once. So
What about Braden Williams?
he had been shot in the back of the head.
What about Adriana Williams?
She had also been shot in the head.
And what about Matthew Wilson?
Mr. Wilson had been shot in multiple places in his body for approximately 11 times.
Jesus.
Please, please. Please, help me. Please.
Oh, it's a family member. These are the things we'll need to figure out. Jemima is working. She's not doing her job as a mod, but it could be interesting. Does the family have criminal records? Was he trying to get them into some scheme of his, and that's why they're out there. They thought they were going to a drug buy or something. They had money. He stole them. We don't know any of that because we don't know any motive. They haven't mentioned any motive in the papers I've read. But again, it's a very, very fresh case. So all of that will come during the investigation, hopefully, because all of them meeting at 7:23, 24 in the morning in the woods could maybe, if he's gang related, could be something, dropping off something, picking up something. I don't know.
Was there a, you had said earlier that there was an incident.
Oh, interesting. That's why I love having Sue here, because she knows redneck thinking. KDP, I hope everything went well, and welcome back. Yeah, if it's close to the prison, he talked about he was a CI helping getting dirty officers and contraband in prison. What if his girlfriend? That's a thing we see commonly in these prison relationships, when these guys get to crawl into the panties of the female officers. They will start, oh, can you just take a letter out for my buddy? And oh, can you bring something back in for me? And maybe she was his mule, and then the family got in on it, or we don't know. We're just speculating right now. No, they said they had no comments on him being a CI, but if he's a CI for the feds, wouldn't they be part of it? I heard in Danish prisons they began doing the drone stuff, because back in the day they would do the tennis ball, but now they just have a drone because it's way faster.
Yes, sir.
I assume, did you find any evidence of an incident that may have been there?
I didn't see any evidence in the vehicle at the time. Where we realized the totality of the scene, myself and my immediate supervisor that was on the scene, we decided to call the violent crime response team that TBI has, and we stepped back away from the scene and secured it until they got there.
And after they got there and they processed the scene, did you continue with the investigation?
We did. We set up a command post away from the crime scene at the Old National Guard Armory here in Tiptonville.
Were you eventually able to develop a suspect in these homicides?
They were a person of interest to us.
And who was that?
Mr. Austin Drummond.
Did you see him in court?
I do.
You identified him?
He's a gentleman sitting at the defense table in the inmate uniform.
Okay. After getting there, you said that there were two vehicles there. Did you get information that there may have been a third vehicle?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
We were told by Miss Kim Hamill, which is Mr. Wilson's mother, that he drove a older model F-150.
You know what color it was?
It was white with a red stripe down the side of it.
Was that vehicle out there that day?
It was not.
Did you think that maybe that was something you needed to be looking for?
Yes, sir.
What did you do?
Chief Joe England with the Tiptonville Police Department, before we got to Tiptonville, had already been looking at video from the Tiptonville Fire Department. There's a camera there, and he had found video of the victims.
But didn't he say he helped the feds? That's why I've said. Maybe he said the TBI, because that's Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Could be I misheard that one. How old is this guy? He's not that old, because he did his aggravated robbery when he was 17, and he spent either 10 or 13 years in prison. So around 30 years old. He also said DEA. Oh, I didn't hear DEA, but I think I heard FBI. So, yeah. Is this yes, this is a probable cause hearing. TBI is what I got from this girl on spring break. Dave, you are a 45-year-old man. Stop going to Florida and chasing down spring breakers.
Arriving that morning, passing the fire department, driving north out towards Harrington Road. And then I believe there was video of the truck returning a few minutes later, about an hour or so later.
Okay. And you said that was footage from the Tiptonville Fire Department?
Correct.
Okay. Did you review that footage yourself?
I did not. I mean, I did look at pictures that Chief
At a
was
later
sending us.
time.
Correct. We obtained the entire video. We sent an agent to Tippinville to obtain video not only from the fire department and other places of interest along Highway 78.
One thing that we usually look at on security cameras is the date and time.
Correct.
Did you check that on these cameras?
On the fire department camera, I did ask the chief to check what the time on the timestamp was on the camera footage versus the real time.
And was it accurate?
It was not.
What, about how far off was this approximately?
Approximately 53 minutes.
53 minutes, okay. Was the date correct?
Yes.
All right, maybe we'll show you a video on the screen there.
Oh, video. Woohoo.
And I'm just going to go ahead and move over to the point that we're interested in.
General, while you're pulling that up, I want to ask one question. You're saying, I just heard a moment ago, you said on the time period right there, which is marked in the right-hand corner of the screen, bottom right-hand corner, that is actually, if it's saying 5:35, it's actually 53 minutes ahead in time. Is that what you're saying?
So if it's 5:35, it's going to be 53 minutes. So the time that's on there is 53 minutes slow.
Okay, so it should be 6:28 or 6 somewhere around.
Approximately.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure of that. Thank you.
Okay. I want
Did they meet in the middle, Brandon, or did they do it one at a time? I hope they met in the middle and made it absolute airtight. And glued some boots on your feet.
you to look at this camera that in the fire department. Tell me if you can tell me what these. I'm sorry. Let me back to this. You recognize that white vehicle?
It appears to be the white Traverse of Miss Courtney Rose.
And what direction is that vehicle traveling?
It is traveling north.
And what, in relation to the fire department, where is the crime scene?
If you're looking at the road, the direction that the car is traveling is the direction of Carrington Road.
So that car will be traveling in the direction of the crime scene.
Correct.
And then you recognize that vehicle?
It appears to be the vehicle that Mr. Brady Williams would have been driving.
And this would have been, since the time is off, approximately 6:28, somewhere around that time.
Correct.
Is that what they called it when the people came home from the second kerfuffle? Yeah, right?
Okay, this is Tippinville Fire Department camera. Right.
Correct. Point south.
What are we looking at?
You recognize that vehicle?
I do. That is the vehicle that appears to be driven by Mr. Matthew Wilson.
Is that the vehicle that was not at the scene that you were looking for?
It was not at the scene.
And the time, once again, it's not correct. So is it approximately 20, 22, 23 minutes after the first two vehicles came by?
That's correct.
And then did you later find a video from the fire department as well of one of the vehicles or any of the vehicles leaving the scene?
We did.
Was there a video of all three vehicles leaving?
No, sir.
How many vehicles were actually leaving the scene?
It was a video. On this video, it only captured the truck of Mr. Matthew Wilson.
Was it Mr. Matthew Wilson in the truck or was it just his truck?
It was just his truck, from what I can tell. I couldn't see. I can't ascertain who was in the vehicle.
Blow your nose.
the same vehicle leaving the scene?
It appears to be, yes.
Okay. Now, you heard testimony from Agent Lawson previously about phone calls. And there was a talk about a phone call that connected on the cell phone that was at the scene, then left the scene, and then was eventually at Austin Drummond's parents' home. Was it at the same time that coordinated with this video?
Yes.
Now, did you also obtain video footage from Williams' garage?
It was obtained. I haven't viewed it.
Now, were you able to determine that the time on that one was actually correct?
I do remember being told that they had it correct.
You can't show it to him. He just said, I haven't viewed it. So he can't lay foundation for this one. And you can't go on to ask him, do you know if it shows the right time? Because he hadn't viewed it.
So now, is this south of the fire department?
It is heading back towards Dyersburg.
Okay. So if you're coming from Dyersburg to the crime scene, this camera would have caught the vehicles first and then the fire department.
Right. The Mexican restaurant is over to the left of the screen, and then you have the mural that's painted on these little grain bins or chemical bins.
Okay. Is that the same white Traverse we saw previously?
It does appear to be the same white Traverse.
And that time is 6:27 a.m. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So that time is actually accurate. That's the time the vehicles were actually going towards the crime scene.
The real time, whenever this video was seized or collected, was the same time as what the live image on the screen that they were watching the video was. So yes, that's the correct time.
That would have been the correct time. And then the black vehicle that is trailing.
That appears to be the same Dodge Charger that was at the crime scene.
The red and white truck once again.
It is.
Can you tell how many people are in that vehicle?
There appears to be 2 occupants in the vehicle.
And that time, 6:50 a.m. That would be the accurate time?
That's correct.
So about 20 minutes after the first 2 vehicles came by.
Yes, sir.
And we'll show you one other.
$6.50 again. Smells really weird. Why would you meet up with your mother-in-law, your sister-in-law, brother-in-law, whatever it is, and your wife's brother? Why 6:50 in the morning? That's crazy time. I'm up because I do shows at 5 a.m. in the morning, but who meets up with an entire family at 6:50 in the morning? And who gets a 15-year-old out of bed at 6:50 in the morning?
That's the same vehicle now leaving the crime scene.
It appears to be.
And once again, the time on that.
This is 07:25 a.m.
So approximately 30 minutes after we passed by the first time.
That's correct.
Can you tell if there's 2 people in the vehicle?
No.
It doesn't appear to be. I can't see anybody in the vehicle from here.
You see anyone in the passenger seat?
You mind if I stand up?
No, go ahead.
I don't mind.
You're not.
I can't see 2 people.
Do you know how far it is from the Mexican restaurant there to the crime scene that you were driving?
Just a few minutes. I'm not sure on the.
No, 6:50 in the morning. So 10 minutes to 7. So why the hell are you out there at that time? And you're driving to a wooded area near a prison. To me, it smells like drugs.
Knowledge, maybe 2-3 miles,
Maybe 10 minutes.
maybe.
We've got about a 30-minute gap there from the time that the vehicle passes here, gets to the crime scene, and then comes back to that point.
That's correct.
No, I didn't even see anyone in the driver's seat.
Did you later find that red and white vehicle?
We did.
Where was it found?
It was found in the Bikini Bottoms area. The day before, the paper copy of Mr. Wilson's driver's license had been found. I believe it's commonly known as the Three Cross Memorial, or the Karen Swift Memorial. It had been found by some citizens. We had some people go out there and collect it. The agent at the time believed he saw, it was getting close to dark, believed he saw some tire tracks going down the gully, the ravine, whatever you want to call it. So we set up a search for the next morning. That morning we had TBI out there, Tennessee Wildlife Resources, members of the Dyer County Sheriff.
Yeah, you haven't been here for the entire time. This is about a 15-year-old, an 18 to 20-year-old, and a 38-year-old, no, 22-year-old and 20-year-old and a 38-year-old, all being found pew-pewed. 3 of them seems like only had 1 to the dome, and the last one had 11 new holes in them. In a wooded area where all of them drove individually to that wooded area. And it's right close to a prison where the 38-year-old's sister worked as a prison guard, and the guy had just been released from prison a year before, the one who's on the stand. So I'm just saying this smells like drugs.
Department, and they found that truck down that ravine covered by kudzu bones.
Now, let me go back one other thing. The video that we just showed, the truck as it was leaving Tiptonville, was at 7:25 a.m. Okay. When you heard the testimony of Agent Lawson, did you hear him testify that there was a 3-way call taking place at that exact time, 7:25 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Between Austin Drummond and Tanaka Brown? Okay, let me rephrase that. That there was a call from that phone that is of interest to Tanaka Brown and Giovanni Thomas.
Correct. The phone that had been at the crime scene that was activated that morning, that we later found that was bought by the victims the night before. There was a call to Mr. Gio Thomas and Mr. Tanaka Brown.
Okay. And at that exact time that it was passing that Mexican restaurant,
Yeah, I'll say 10 maximum.
7:25 a.m. the call was being made.
Approximately correct. The exact time. Yes, sir.
All right, so now let me go back to the vehicle that was found.
No, this is the first preliminary hearing. We are way away from a trial date.
Did you receive any information about how the vehicle got there? Got to Bikini Bottoms?
Correct. We interviewed Miss Michelle Ovelis a couple of times, and she ended up telling us that she was told by Tanaka Brown that
it was Matthew who had been pew-pewed 11 times. He's the 21-year-old father of the baby that was left at someone's yard, a 7-month-old, I believe it was.
he had met Mr. Drummond with the baby out in that area and given him a ride back to Jackson.
Okay. Did you talk to Tanaka Brown about that?
He did.
Did he admit any of those things?
He did.
Okay. Did he make any statements about assisting to push the vehicle?
He did not, but he did make that statement to Miss Ovelis's boyfriend, Gio Thomas.
Did Mr. Brown bring anything with him when he picked up Mr. Drummond?
During an interview with Mr. Brown, he informed me that whenever he was on that 3-way call with Mr. Drummond, Gio Thomas, that Mr. Drummond had asked him for a ride, and he also told him to pick up cleaning supplies. But he said he stopped at Walmart in Jackson and bought gloves, bleach, and trash bags.
Do you know if those supplies were used at that crime scene or at the scene of the truck?
We were told by Mr. Brown and Miss Ovelis that whenever they returned the vehicle, there was cleaning supplies and trash bags in the trunk along with a gas can.
Okay. So Mr. Tanaka Brown admits that he picks up Mr. Drummond and the baby from Bikini Bottoms.
Correct. He also told me, I'm sorry.
And takes them where?
Takes them to, the first place he took them was to the Clarion Hotel in Jackson on Carriage House Drive. That's where Mr. Drummond's Audi vehicle was parked. Mr. Drummond got the vehicle. Mr. Brown and him went to the Cherry Grove Apartments where they dropped that Audi off. They continued on from there with the child in the car to the apartment of Geo Thomas and Michelle Bellis to retrieve the rental car.
And the rental car, what type of rental car was it?
It was a Nissan Rogue.
Remember the color?
It was a silver or light gray.
And what type license plate did it have?
It did have California tags on it.
And have you received information previously from a wildlife officer that they have seen that vehicle?
He is a state park ranger, Mr. Corey Hussey. He had seen a Nissan SUV along with the two victims' vehicles out on Carrington Road earlier that afternoon. And the distinguishing feature on that Nissan vehicle was it had California tags.
And you actually were able to determine that it was a rental vehicle?
Correct. Whenever we ran the information on that license plate, we found that it was a rental for Enterprise rental car, and it had been picked up at the Enterprise location over in Jackson by the bowling alley.
And do you know who rented that vehicle, who picked it up?
Michelle Bellis had reserved that vehicle on the night of the July 28th.
And you said that you had talked with Ms. Bellis?
We had.
Why did she rent that car?
She stated on the night of the 28th, Mr. Drummond, because she knew him as AD, came to her residence and asked her to rent him a vehicle to be picked up at noon the following day on the 29th.
And did he actually pick that vehicle up?
He didn't pick it up from Enterprise. He picked it up from her residence later on the 29th at approximately, she said, between 10 and 11 a.m.
Do you know if he was alone at the time he picked up the vehicle?
Ms. Ovellis and Mr. Thomas both told us that Mr. Brown, Mr. Tanaka Brown, was with him whenever he arrived and obtained the rental vehicle and left in it.
And about what time was it that he left? After he picked up the vehicle and left their residence?
She stated it was sometime between 10 and 11 a.m.
And that was in Jackson?
That was in Jackson on the 29th of July.
All right. We've heard evidence already about flock cameras and about looking for footage. Were you able to determine that vehicle actually did have a direction of travel after it was picked up?
Correct. We had it on camera sometime after 11 o'clock, or we did find that it was on camera sometime after 11 o'clock leaving Jackson.
Okay. Which direction did it go?
It was headed north.
And once again, is the crime scene north of Jackson?
It is.
Did it eventually make its way to Dyersburg and then back to Lake County?
It did. It was recorded at the intersection over by Lowe's at Cracker Barrel in Dyersburg, heading towards Lake County, north towards Lake County.
And was the picture clear enough to see if it's clean, dirty, anything about it?
It was. It appeared to be a cleaner car.
Was it later seen coming back into Dyersburg?
It was.
And was there a difference in the car as far as the cleanliness of the car?
I do not recall if it was the camera there in Dyersburg or if it was a camera in Jackson, but it did appear to be dusty from the bed line of the doors, including the tires and rims.
Okay. The road out on Carrington Road, is it a paved road out to the area?
What?
Into a gravel road.
Oh.
And the area where the crime scene actually is,
I don't know.
where the cars and the bodies were, was a gravel parking lot.
Do you have to drive a good distance on that gravel portion of the drive?
You do.
Now, we reviewed video cameras previously of the Dodge Charger, the white Traverse, the red and white pickup truck 4450. Was there also video that captured the Nissan Rogue in Jennerville?
I believe there was a video. I don't recall which establishment that video was from.
Okay. Once again, you did receive video images from Williams Garage.
Correct.
If you would, I'd like to show you some video.
More video. Let's go video. Radio kill. No, video kill the radio star.
That appeared to be the Nissan Rogue that had been rented.
Yes, it's a light silver, maybe a gray Rogue that looks to have a license plate on the front of it, unlike what Tennessee requires.
And that was going to be my next question. Does California require a license plate on the front and back?
They normally do, yes.
Okay. And did this vehicle have a California plate on the front and back?
Other images that I've seen of it did have a California plate on the front of the back. Yes.
Just as this appears that.
Correct.
And that time, once again, is 1:08:52.
That's correct.
So this is probably maybe what, an hour and a half from the time the vehicle was picked up in Jackson?
It was picked up somewhere after 11. It was leaving Jackson probably approximately 11:30 from what I recall. It'd probably be about an hour and a half or so, a little bit more than an hour.
More than an hour and a half from the time it left Jackson. Okay. All right, and let me show you one other video.
Haven't even talked about it yet.
Do you recall the time that the vehicle was seen by the park ranger?
Whenever we first interviewed him, he believed that he saw it somewhere between 1 and 1:15.
And that was 108, is that correct?
Correct.
This is at 1:30, so 5 hours later. What are we looking at? Oh, yeah, this way. That's out to the crime scene. So maybe
It could be the same vehicle going back towards Jackson. So it was originally 108, it's now 133, so approximately 20 minutes or less from the time that it was seen preached. Is that right? Correct.
It's silver.
Just about enough time to go up there, turn around, and come right back.
It would be.
Did you have information that at this time, the infant was still with Mr. Drummond in the vehicle?
Yes. Whenever Mr. Brown told us that he dropped whenever they arrived at the house of Obelis, or the residence of Obelis and Thomas, he stated that Mr. Drummond transferred not only the baby, but the cleaning supplies he had bought to the road and left the residence with it. So we had no other reason to think that the baby wasn't with him at this time, especially since it didn't get dropped off till after 3 p.m. in Dark County.
Okay. So that was 140 when he was going back towards Dyersburg, and then what, approximately an hour and 20 minutes later when the 911 call comes in.
The Dark County 911 call, yes, sir.
Okay. And this may be a silly question, but do you know if Mr. Drummond was the legal guardian of the child?
No, he wasn't the legal guardian of the child.
You know if he had custody of the child, had permission to have the child?
No.
Now, you did request cell phone data, which we've heard from already, is that right?
Correct. We had started working with our, before we even set up our command post, we started contacting our agent, Andy Valley, who also works with TBI Agent Carla Rexing, who also analyzes phones and the type of data that Agent White does. And he started submitting paperwork to AT&T and other companies for the victims' phones to start getting their data.
Okay. Were you able to determine where the phone came from?
The phone in question that Agent Scott Wilson. Dyer County Sheriff's Department had, whenever they gathered the video from Walmart the night before on the 28th, they also got a receipt from Walmart showing that a purchase by the victims of the burlap, the camouflage burlap, or similar camouflage burlap that was at the crime scene, along with the cell phone. Sorry, Joe.
Do you recognize that
This is the receipt I've seen. Correct.
from the cell phone purchase?
Correct.
And do you know who it was that purchased that cell phone?
At the time, I was told he was one of the victims. I believe, or I do recall that I've been told that Mr. Braylon Williams was actually seen on camera purchasing the phone.
Did you make that exhibit your testimony for?
Without objection, Mr. Huffman. Show this mark. Thank you. 6.
Were you able to determine if that cell phone was used to call any family or friends of Austin Drummond?
Yes, that cell phone was used to call Geo Thomas, who in turn put Mr. Brown on the phone, on the three-way call that one.
Did you interview Mr. Geo Thomas?
We did.
Did he admit to you that he did have that three-way call and was part of the conversation about picking up Mr. Drummond?
That's correct.
And that was to pick him up from Bikini Bottom?
Right.
Now, I've shown you videos. We've also had the cell phone data. Have you reviewed both of those prior to today? Have you looked at that data?
I have some of it, correct.
Okay. Would it be accurate to say that the cell phone data, the timing on the cell phone data and the timing on the videos match?
From the evidence I've seen that's been collected and presented during the investigation, yes, it did not.
Yeah, it's been a little bit boring with the Adelsons and no other trials. But there was another one we are actually looking at, but it's not streamed, so it's a little annoying. But welcome, Boba Fett, and seize the day. Hello, from the Pacific Northwest. That's where Oklahoma is. Oklahoma, and Danny T is ruling the world.
When were you able to take Austin Drummond into custody?
He was taken into custody on, it would have been that Tuesday after, I believe it was August 6th, 2025.
So a week later?
Correct.
After being taken into custody, are you aware of any statements that Mr. Austin Drummond has made while being incarcerated?
I've been listening to his phone calls, correct?
Did he give an interview with a reporter in Nashville?
Yes, he did.
In that interview, did he admit that he was at the scene at the time of the murders?
He did.
Did he also admit that he had dropped the child off on the side of the road fire first?
I don't recall that part. No.
Are you aware of the fact that Austin Drummond has previous felony convictions?
He does.
I know people get confused a lot, but Oklahoma and Oregon is the same place. It's because of the musical. I get it, but I learned geography from the expert, so I know every state that begins with the same letter is right next to each other.
Yes.
I'll pass it with you.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Agent Tubbs. A few questions. Would it be fair to say that you were lead agent on this case?
I'm the case agent, correct?
So you pretty much have seen most of the information as it comes in. For instance, medical examiner's report. You have preliminary reports, right?
I had a preliminary phone call. I haven't received a report yet.
So that is still in process, correct?
Correct.
Now, you said you called the violent crime scene investigative team. What was that?
The violent crime response team is essentially our crime scene unit.
And they were the ones who processed the scene.
Correct.
Did you have any involvement in processing the scene?
I did not.
All right. Do you recall how many shells? Were any shell cases recovered?
There was.
Do you recall how many?
I did not. I was not told the number.
Do you know what type of cases?
So this is an area where people go out and target practice, from what I was told. I'm not from Lake County. There were a few different kinds of calibers out there. The violent crime response team leader, Special Agent Forensic Scientist Julian Conyers, I had a conversation with him. He said the majority of the cartridge casings that was around the lock road were 45 caliber.
But there were multiple shell casings, multiple types of shell casings.
Multiple calibers of shell casings, correct? Cartridge casings.
Now, did you process the scene at all yourself?
I did not. We still back and call them.
Do they take photos, that sort of thing?
They take photos, they take measurements, they collect evidence, the whole range.
I know where Oregon is.
I'm not sure on this one. So whenever they finish processing and they do all their evidence, all that, they will create what they call a crime scene investigation report with photo and everything. That's still in the process.
So that's not completed.
Last I checked this week, it was not completed yet.
Typically, you guys just don't carry body cams like that. You have a body cam.
I did not.
Regarding the video with time delta, how did you determine that it was 53 minutes low? How did you determine that?
Whenever I was talking with Chief England, I asked him what the time was on the what he was looking at live on the video camera, because he went back to the fire department to see how far was behind, or if he could get any more video of any of the victims' vehicles, any other vehicles that might be suspicious. And I asked him to look at what the real time was in the live video versus what the like what was on his watch, and he found that it was 53 minutes behind.
During the course of your investigation, were you able to gather any evidence as to why these victims were on the scene?
During interviews, yes, we were told by family a possibility about why they were out on the scene. The introduction of contraband into the Northwest Correctional Facility.
Were you able to obtain any evidence regarding that?
regarding them being part of it.
Well, you said that the potential introduction of contraband. Was there any contraband found on scene?
No, there wasn't any on scene that I'm aware of. I have not been told by the Violent Response team what was in the car, but that has not come up in our discussions.
Yes, sir.
Videos. One of the things I failed to include the actual videos. I played those. Make that into your testimony.
I would.
No further questions.
Agent Tubbs, you may have a seat. We'll go whichever you choose to. Thank you, sir. Next witness.
I visited Delaware, DC, which technically isn't a state, Virginia, New Jersey, Newark, Illinois. I landed in Philadelphia, so that's Philadelphia. That's Pennsylvania. And then I've been to Tennessee 3 times. So, yeah, that's about as many states. So 8 out of 52 states.
Proof we have is we do have certified copies of the verification of death for each individual.
Objection. Show the CD being entered with the video at the point as State Exhibit 7, and then this being entered as State Exhibit 7. Or 8, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm right. That concludes the state's portion. And we should be heard on argument.
Yes. Now, you've heard all the proof in this case. There's a real tight timeline with this case, and we think we can show that. We think we've shown that today with cell phone data and as well as video footage. But just to go back through that, and just to go back through this timeline, I want to go back and highlight this. At 6:27 a.m., the Dodge Charger and the Chevrolet Traverse are going north towards the crime scene on the fire department camera in Tiptonville. At 6:38, there's an outgoing call from the phone.
I've probably also been to Missouri because we drove from Illinois at close to the border to Iowa and then down to Memphis. So we might have crossed into Missouri, or maybe Kentucky. You never know. I might have been in one more state or two.
And when I talk about the phone, it's going to be the phone in question that was purchased the night before. There's an outgoing call from that phone to Adriana. At 6:47 a.m., the truck driven by Matthew Wilson, the red and white vehicle, comes into Tiptonville. It's northbound.
If I can find a way to business
At
expensive.
6:45 a.m., I'm sorry, 6:54 a.m., there's the first time advance bar on the cell phone, and that is near Tiptonville. At 7:01 a.m., there's an outgoing call to Adriana once again. That's the last call. Adriana, it lasted 32 seconds.
Which one? What time was that, General?
That was 7:01 a.m. At 7:25 a.m., red and white vehicle is seen traveling southbound on the video in Tiptonville, going past Williams Garage and the Mexican restaurant. And at that same time, a call starts at 7:25 and it lasts until 7:29. That's a 3-way call from that phone in question to Giovanni Thomas and to Michael Brown. Both of those individuals did admit in their testimony today that they were on the phone with Austin Drummond at that time. 7:26 a.m. Time advance data shows that that phone is now moving south.
Well, this is only a preliminary hearing to find out if they have a reasonable. Why the hell is my camera acting up again? What's happening today?
At 7:44, I'm sorry, let me back up. Between 7:25 and 10:06 a.m., there are approximately 15 calls between that phone number and Giovanni Thomas. At 7:44 a.m. and up until 9:04 a.m. So almost a 2-hour period, a little short. I'm sorry, not 2 hours, almost an hour, a little over 45, 50 minutes. It shows that the phone is actually at Bikini Bottoms in Dyer County, and it's stationed, it's sitting there. From 9:17 to 10:04, the time advance showed that there was southbound movement once again. This time it's going towards Jackson. And this is at the time that testimony was that Tanaka Brown had drove from Jackson to Bikini Bottoms to help push the red and white vehicle into the ravine, pick up Austin Drummond and the child, and drive them back to Jackson. He drove them to the Clareton Inn to pick up the Audi. He then went to Geo, went to pick up a vehicle from Geo and Michelle, and that was a rental vehicle. He had the baby with him this entire time. At the time of 11:55 until 12:07 p.m., we now have a different vehicle. We have the Nissan Rogue with a California license plate that is traveling northbound towards Bells. At 12:39 p.m., that vehicle is seen by license plate readers going through Dyersburg, still traveling north. Between 1:04 and 1:14, it is the approximate time that the cell phone that's been in question the entire time is back at the crime scene. The phone was initially at the crime scene. It left the crime scene. It made phone calls, which witnesses say were made off to Drummond. It went to Bikini Bottoms. It went to
Yes, it's a charge to see if there's enough to charge him with it. So it's just to hear what they have so far.
Jackson. It got the rental car, and now it is back at the crime scene once again. This is between 1:04 and 1:14. At 1:15, you heard testimony from a park ranger that stated that there was a black Charger, a white Traverse, and a Nissan Rogue with a California license plate. He said it left quickly as soon as he passed the vehicle. Between 1:38 and 2:14 p.m., time advance data shows movement going southbound once again from the crime scene back towards Jackson, Dyer County and Jackson. At 2:15 p.m., the rental vehicle is southbound according to license plate readers. Between 2:32 and 2:35, it's in the area where the baby was eventually dropped in Friendship. At 2:55, the time advance showed that the cell phone and vehicle was northbound towards Dyersburg. Just a few minutes later, 3:11 p.m., the 911 call came in. The baby had been dropped. Keep in mind that Mr. Drummond admitted that he dropped the baby. Between 2:57 and 3:23 p.m., the time advance showed that the vehicle was traveling southeast, back towards Bells, and back towards Jackson. It was back in Jackson by 3:39 p.m.
I don't know
with
my camera right now.
This is really important. There were overlapping arcs. And you heard the testimony was that when there's overlapping arcs, you can almost pinpoint where the person is.
No, you can't pinpoint anyone with your cell phone. This is bullshit. I don't. We haven't heard any motives. It's just a really, if you haven't been here for it, this case starts with a 7-month-old girl being found in a yard, and then they find 4 bodies in the woods close to a prison, where one of the victim's sister is a prison guard. They start looking for the defendant, who they later find out has gone to a place called Bikini Bottoms, where he hangs out with some other people who have helped him get some cleaning supplies and stuff like that. We haven't heard anything about the Pew Pew other than one male, 21 years old, had 11 new holes in him. The other 3 only had at least 1 hole in them so far. One of them, a 15-year-old boy who was, I believe, was the little brother of the 20-year-old woman, the mother of the child who was unalived, and then the 38-year-old grandmother of the baby that was found. This guy used to date the grandmother's sister. She is a prison guard. And I'm thinking, if you are going to a wooded area near a prison at 6:50 in the morning, it's not because you want to wrangle snakes. But we don't have any motive. They haven't talked about anything. They just showed that they can put him in the area. So, and then they are hoping that the judge will say, well, continue, we'll keep him in prison.
Those arcs overlapped right above Austin Drummond's parents' house. And it stayed there for an hour and a half. From 6:34 to 8:44 p.m., it was back to Clarion Hotel, and then at Kathleen Speed's residence, who was Mr. Drummond's girlfriend. At 8:17, 911 calls coming about the body being found, and at 8:44, the phone was no longer on network. Your Honor, that is a very tight timeline. The testimony shows that Austin Drummond was at the scene. He admits he was at the scene. He was the person who got the rental vehicle. He's the only person who was in that Nissan Road, which video shows came back to the crime scene, was there just a very few minutes and left the crime scene. And that phone and video synced up all the way through from Jackson to the crime scene and back to Jackson. And there's no other person possible that could have been Austin Drummond. Your Honor, based on that, we think that we've proven the aggravated kidnapping. He took the child without consent. He's not his child. He did not have custody. He's not the guardian. He is a convicted felon. Testimony was that these individuals were shot, which means a weapon was involved. He admits to being on the scene. All four individuals are deceased. We think that meets the probable cause for first-degree murder and the possession of a weapon during the mission of that.
Mr. Hutton.
Come on. Come on. What? You can't do that. Why the hell did it end? What the hell?
Until 12:07. At 8:17, 911 call all the way through from Jackson to the crime.
No, it ended.
6:06, and this is really important. There were overlapping arcs. And you heard the testimony was that when there's overlapping arcs, you can.
I don't.
Understanding this is
Mr. Huffman. Yes, sir.
Understanding this is a preliminary hearing and that the burden of proof is probable cause and not beyond reasonable doubt, obviously. There's been no evidence whatsoever that Mr. Drummond fired any weapon. The only evidence that was presented today was that there was a cell phone purchased by one of the victims at the scene and proof that he was present on scene, but no proof as to anybody else on scene, or even that the cell phone was in his hands when he was on scene. The only thing that probable cause was met was that his presence on scene. There was no evidence whatsoever regarding who fired these shots, if Mr. Drummond fired shots, or if there are other individuals on the scene. So we do not believe that the state has met probable cause regarding the murders. Obviously, there's some evidence regarding Mr. Drummond's having a child, so we would submit that to the court as to determination here at probable cause hearing. But again, the only thing that the state has shown ostensibly is his presence on the scene and afterwards. There's been no evidence whatsoever that Mr. Drummond fired any of these shots.
Any response, Joe?
Yeah,
Regards
ponytails.
to the motion filed by the state, does that, do we need to have a hearing at this time regarding that? Okay. What I'm going to do is this. If everybody doesn't mind for a moment, I'm going to take a very brief recess. Okay, so if anyone needs to use the restroom, I would tell you to take this time to do so. I'm going to go downstairs and take a brief recess. I'll be back here, folks. Let's try. It is now 2:48. Everyone needs to be back in the courtroom at 3 p.m. sharp. 3 p.m. Okay, we're in recess till then.
All right. Orders in recess.
So 7 minutes till we're back. And while we are waiting for that, I think our girl, Wendy Murphy, has lost her marbles. This is what Wendy has put on her tweet today. Reed should be sued by the state for wasting the public's money. Her lawyers should also be sued. Make them all repay the public for violating their right to a legal system where murderers can't use the courtroom as a toilet, where they shit lies, mock judges, and corrupt juries. This is apparently a lawyer who wrote this one. People bring it up and say, so is attorney an aspirational goal of yours then? Try community college or at least get a GED. Funny, GED is goat in Danish. So get a goat. This is rate bait, and what a lawless thing to say in a very unartful way. Tough shit. Again, this is a former member of the Massachusetts bar. So the jury was corrupt and the defense team, but the Commonwealth ran a tight ship. I didn't say anything about the Commonwealth. Defense lies are legally allowed. Government lies are not. Could be funny to all our defense attorney friends out there. Is it legally allowed to lie? Government lies are not. Well, then there's a few teeny weeny lawsuits that needs to happen in Massachusetts. Our legal system allows the defense to lie, which is why the public has so little respect for defense attorneys and their lying experts. This imbalance breeds lawlessness. Yes, the millions of dollars that the state can use from the taxpayers has no influence on any cases whatsoever. It is absolutely not why a ton of people just plead guilty and take plea deals, because they can't fight the machine that can always spend more money. But of course, it is the lying defense attorneys. I know some defense attorneys, they don't lie all the time. Are lies by the defense legally allowed, or are they actionable or create civil liability for the state's court expenses? Defense lies are allowed. There are no sanctions available. Prosecutors and cops, however, must be sanctioned when they lie. So Brennan, that lied about when he talked to Aperture, needs to be sanctioned. They must. We're talking about the highest lawyer in the state, Wendy Murphy, the smartest person on the planet, says you must sanction Brennan because he lied about his meetings with Aperture. He lied about when he had received certain informations. Some of the cops lied too. Remember Deaver, who couldn't remember anything? They must be sanctioned. This is Wendy Murphy, the smartest person in any room. Like when they lie, like suppression of evidence and dismissal of charges. Well, suppression of evidence. Talk to Trooper Proctor about that one. As well as lawsuits. None of these things are possible even for blatant lies by the defense. I'm pretty sure that defense can't just lie. Actually, I hear in a lot of cases, there's this word objection, facts not in evidence. They haven't laid foundation for that. It's not like you can just go up there and say, by the way, jury, my client wasn't even in the country at that point. He's never been in America until he was arrested and put in here. Never been to America before. Isn't he born in the same town? No, never been in. Because they can lie whatever they want to do. They can just lie. Is that why Jackson didn't get sanctioned at the beginning of the second trial? I was expecting Cannoni to do something about the ARCA payments, but then it seems like nothing came of it because Braintree lapse. I know if you can write on Wendy's wall, you're not blocked by her, which means you must be in the lower quadrant of the IQ spectrum. But it was because Cannoni could read the bill. They didn't send the bill till after the first trial had ended for work. that has to do with them coming up testifying they paid for the travel. But I thought, yeah, because Canoni was a C word, but she knew she couldn't do more because she would get in trouble. Exactly. She would have sanctioned him, but her hands are tied. No, it's not. In this state, the right due process includes the right to lie, the right to pay expert to lie, the right to pay PR firms to pay media to elevate the lies, etc. All of that, of course, can be proven. That's why, no, Aiden and Karen Reed was never found to collude about anything. And you can talk to whomever you want. And if you want to hire a PR firm, you can do that. But they are not in the courtroom. You absolute book. Aside from how insane a thing this is to say in general, how is Karen responsible for Morrissey's terrible financial decisions? Did she make him drop plus 1 million on Brennan and Aperture instead of just using the ADAs and MSP experts who are already on the government payroll? She made a joke out of the legal system. The murder trial is not entertainment. Lying to win is disgraceful. She and her whole team are disgusting. False, but you didn't come close to answering the question. How is Karen responsible for Morrissey lighting our cash on fire? If he thinks the building full of his employees are too incompetent to try this case, why is he employing them? Reed is responsible, obviously, because she's a murderer. Idiot. Again, we're talking about a lawyer who passed the bar in Massachusetts, who did a TED talk about how women are always kept down by the man because men steal all of the praise for women. Remember that. Are all murder charges handled by special prosecutors? Do we always drop $500,000 on accident reconstruction instead of the people who are already on the payroll? When the murderer spends millions on lies and PR, the prosecution is obligated and owes a duty to the public to spend at least as much and more. Citation needed, both of her spending millions on PR or on the district attorney's duty to light as much cash on fire as it takes to outspend a defendant. If Morrissey thinks his employees are all too incompetent to try a case, he should probably hire better attorneys. You can't be this stupid, or maybe you are. Sad. Go to community college. It's shocking that you're actually a practicing attorney. She is not a practicing attorney anymore, just so no one thinks that. But that was your daily dose of the Wendy Murphy Can't Be This Stupid podcast. Well, you can't sue people for being dumb, or else I would have been sued a long time ago. Oh, and they are already back. Sorry. Let's get back to it and do it.
In regards to the motion, do we need to proceed on that, or are we?
I think we're going to be in agreement on the motion. It was a motion for a gag order, and there's going to be an agreement. And
we don't want a gag order.
The attorneys represent the state of Tennessee as a defendant, as well as the defendant himself. Witnesses or investigators are prohibited from posting on social media or providing traditional media and/or social media accounts covering the case, statements concerning or alleging the facts of the case. Your Honor, and doesn't prevent anything with media other than if the facts of the case cannot be discussed. And it includes the defendant.
Is that it?
Yes, Your Honor. It does create mainly safeguards.
Yes. There was a case that, and I appreciate the state providing the site to that case. It was a very, it was a good opinion on what to do and what not to do in this type of situation. I appreciate both parties' cooperation in regarding this. And I'll say this, after reviewing the motion and the case, I think not only to ensure the state's right to a fair trial, but Mr. Drummond also to ensure your right to a fair trial as well. I want to make sure that the parameters are put in place, because I know the media since 2000, I appreciate our media that are here. I want to just echo that again. I appreciate our media that is here.
Thank you.
The media since 2000 has grown tremendously since that case was first decided. Things are a lot far different than it was a quarter of a century ago. So I think that, we get our news now from not only our television and our newspapers, but from our telephones. If y'all are like me, it's a habit. So I will enter this order at this time. Today's date is the 4th of September. I need a pen that works, though. I sure do. Miss Jessica, do you mind if I borrow it? Thank you so much. Is there any other matters we need to take up regarding the preliminary hearing?
No,
But aside from me ruling, I'm assuming. So, okay.
There may be one other issue after.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to thank, before I make my ruling in this, I want to thank the attorneys today. I want to thank all of you for your devotion to this case and the work you've shown in this case here today. Appreciate the state and also the defense attorneys. I know that, and I appreciate Mr. Huffman taking this case and Mr. Mason. I know this was something you were appointed to, but I appreciate your graciousness in taking this matter on. I do very much, and I appreciate all the parties for their testimony. I appreciate the witnesses that are here today. I want to speak to the family today. I know you heard a lot of things today, things that were not pleasant to hear, but I appreciate the fact that for the most part, your candor has been respectful to this court. And I appreciate that you've shown this court respect. I don't want that to go unnoticed. To all of you, I want to say this. I know that at this time, this is not the trial today. This is only the first step in that next proceeding. The standard you heard that was presented is a probable cause standard, which means it's more likely than not. I am not making a finding of guilt or innocence today. That is not what is happening. I don't want y'all to leave and think, what did he just do? So I want you to understand that. It is still alleged as to who committed this offense, but I know it's not alleged that the loss that y'all have suffered. And I want you to know that my heart does go out to all of you. And in the days, weeks, months, and years to come, you will be.
I don't think so.
Because I know it's a long road to that. I want to thank, I don't want it to go unnoticed, but I just want to thank you for your respect you've shown the court very much. In regards to the matters today, the court has heard the testimony from all the parties, and in consideration of that testimony, in case number 25 CR 48067, the charge of first-degree murder, the court does find the probable cause regarding the murder of Mr. Braden Williams. In case number 48068, the charge of first-degree murder, the court does find probable cause in regards to the murder of Miss Adriana Williams. In case number 48069, the court does find probable cause in regards to first-degree murder in the matter of Mr. Matthew Wilson. And in case number 48070, the court does find probable cause into the case of the murder, first-degree murder of Miss Courtney Rose. The court also does find probable cause in case number 48071 as to the charge of aggravated kidnapping of the young child and the possession of a firearm with the intent to go armed as a commission of a dangerous felony. Aside from the proof of the agent Tubbs, there was not any other proof put forward to show whether or not he is a convicted felon. So based on that, I'm not binding those matters over the counts 2 on 48067, 68, 69, and 70. But those are the only charges that will not be bound over. The remaining charges will be bound over. The 4 first-degree murders, the aggravated kidnapping, and the possession of a firearm with the intention to go armed during the commission of a dangerous felony. In regards to Mr. Drummond, I want to make you aware this is your notice for your circuit court date. Should your cases be presented to the grand jury on November 10th of 2025 at 9 a.m., you will appear before the Honorable Mark Hayes, the Circuit Judge for Lake County, Tennessee, on November 17th, 2025 at 1 p.m. Now, before we conclude that, I had heard that there may be another matter that needs to be addressed.
That's correct, Judge. When we were here previously, the defendant's girlfriend, Ms. Kate Sweet, had requested, I indicated that she requested to have no contact order with us so she could communicate with Mr. Drummond. The media seems to spin my words. Mr. Drummond did not request ask this be lifted, she requested it. So she has actually reached out to the district attorney, who's not in agreement, but she has indicated to the district attorney that she would like that portion to be lifted so that she can have communications with Mr. Drummond again. Previously, that was stated in the news reports that Mr. Drummond had asked for that. That's not the case. Ms. Katie Speed was the one who reached out and wanted to have communication with Mr. Drummond. So we would respectfully ask for that portion of the no contact order to be lifted as it relates to Ms. Katie Speed.
Let me hear from you, Mr. Goodman.
Ms. Caitlin Speed did contact me. I talked to her about this. She did ask me to allow contact, to allow the restraining order to be lifted. I told her that I would be honest and tell the court that's what her wishes are. But I also told her that I would be opposed to this. I would be opposed to the restraining order being lifted. And Your Honor, the fact is that she is a witness in this case, and there's not need to be any communication between the defendant and a witness. And in addition to that, she's also a member of the family and victims. And we're concerned.
My
that
pleasure.
there's an issue there. The restraining order is for all family members and victims. So we would ask that the restraining order stay in place.
She is the mother of this unborn child. I understand that she's being a witness. He can't discuss facts of the case, but we would respectfully ask her to be lifted so he can communicate regarding that portion. Again, she's pregnant with this child. I'm sure they want to discuss matters of that, family matters.
Now, the problem with that is there's no way for us to police that. There's no way to say, okay, well, you can talk to her about these issues, but you can't talk about the others. It's not like we're going to be there to monitor the situation and say, oh, okay, stop talking. You can't talk about that. So there just needs to be a restraining order that prevents all communication.
They are clearly listening to every phone call that he makes. They can listen and monitor in real time the discussions. So they will know what they're talking about. And obviously, if he crosses that line and discusses facts of the case, that's the issue. But that can be controlled or at least limited in scope. So they are listening. They know what he's saying to her. I'm not sure how that would be inappropriate.
I think that the issue at hand is not whether or not it would be appropriate. I think the thing I have to consider in this is that based on the testimony I've heard here today, it is very likely that she is going to be a witness possibly in this case. That's what I've gathered from the testimony I've heard here today. I am not restricting any conversations between him and his family. If she wants to communicate with his family to give him messages regarding their child, I am fine with that. But because of the fact that there may be an instance where Ms. Speed has to testify at the trial, that's the only thing that kind of puts me in a position to not feel comfortable amending the order at this time for that purpose. So what I will do is I'll continue to let it remain in place directly between the two of them. However, he is completely allowed to speak with his family and his mother or father or whoever it is that wishes to talk maybe through her to him regarding the status of his child. If it were to be the case that she would not be a witness at a later date, I'm not saying that's not, well, I'm losing jurisdiction of this today. So that's something that if you want to discuss with Judge Hayes, I'm sure I'm not going to speak for him, but you could have the right to revisit that at that time. So I'm going to leave.
Just to clarify, you want to forget third-party contact, and you're saying you may have third-party contact as it relates only to family matters, which I know what you're going to say is it may be difficult to police that.
I want to clarify that as well, because I thought what you meant was he could talk to his family, and then his family could talk to her, not that they could be on three-way call.
Absolutely not. Yes.
That's what I understood.
That is
That has been an issue, and I want to clarify also, make sure the defendant understands that third-party conversations are violations as well. He can't tell someone, go tell this witness that I said this. That's a violation.
He needs to be aware of that. And it appears that based on testimony today, it should be aware that his phone calls are being monitored. So obviously,
So his child would be the cousin of the mother of the baby he killed. I think we have to have because you have Rose, and then you have Rose's sister. And the sister is shacking up with Austin. And if they had a child, and Rose had, I don't know if it's but she had at least a daughter and a son. I think the daughter was the mother. So I think this is kind of the family tree. So his baby would be the cousin of the baby's mother or father, whatever it is. So his kid would be the uncle. No, what do we call them? We call them pine uncles. If it's, I don't know what you call an, but it would be on this level that they are related. This is trailer park cases.
Does the state oppose him talking to his family? It's not his family. It's just them attempting to relay messages concerning the case to Miss Speed.
Correct.
So does that make any sense at all?
Yes. Not relating messages regarding the case, but I'm assuming it's okay.
It's the first cousin.
I don't mind
Okay.
that. I mean, that's something regarding his child, but it can't be anything regarding the case or the facts of the case. And I would just say that those are being monitored. Those phone calls are being monitored. So that's just something he'll need to understand for that purpose. Okay. So it'll remain in place for that. Folks, this is what I want to do before we do anything else. Having found that these matters are going to be presented to the grand jury and the cases will be sent to circuit court, or should he be indicted, what I'm going to ask is that at this time, if the sheriff's department will take him back into custody and transport him back, he will continue to remain without bond in this case. And while they are doing that, I'm going to ask everyone to please remain in the courtroom. Before we are adjourned, folks, I want to again thank our law enforcement that are here today. I want to thank all of our law enforcement for the efforts they put into this case in protecting the courtroom. And to the families, again, good luck to each of you in the days to come. With that, folks, we're adjourned.
All right.
Aaron P., I think this is one of those cases where I'm going to sit a lot and ask, hey, Sue, how does this work where you're from? Because Sue is my redneck interpreter. So whenever I don't understand what's going on in cases where there might be a smidgen of redneck, Sue will be here to tell me what it means. Again, this was the first hearing. This is the first time we hear what evidence they have so far. What they have is someone bought a burner phone the night before at a Walmart. And I'm not sure it was him or it was someone who was with him who did it. Nope, wrong finger. He rented a car, or someone rented a car using that burner phone. That burner phone went to the area the next morning around 6:50 in the morning. Something went down in a wooded area near the prison he used to stay in, where his baby mama is a prison guard. there were at least 3 different cars driven to the scene of the crime, and one was driven out of there again. Later, they believe he returns in a rented vehicle with cleaning supplies to take care of business. But at that time, it seemed like he only had enough time to go to the scene and back again, not clean it up. Maybe he looked at it and said, fuck no, this is too much. So that's around 2 o'clock. He goes back from the crime scene. At around 3 o'clock is when the 7-month-old baby is dumped in a yard and someone finds it, and they then find the bodies after that. They have him on his cell phone going to somewhere in Memphis, in the vicinity of Memphis, called Bikini Bottom. That's why this is my new thumbnail for this, because either it's Bikini Bottoms or it's SpongeBob related. But and they know he has some accomplices that he's with at this time. What wasn't really brought up today was that there are 5 other people who have been arrested. 3 of them so far has been charged with being accomplice to the crime, which I find it's weird that you can already be charged with that if no crime has been charged so far. But that's the law. But 5 people have been arrested, and 3 of them has been charged with helping him escape from a crime, help him cover up a crime. So he wasn't alone. But now the speculation can begin, and this is why I don't normally jump in on cases this early, but nothing has really been going on but the rent. So I thought, let's look at it, because we are sitting here now, kind of like, it's kind of just sitting here holding a flaccid PP in our hand. What are we going to do with it? Because we don't know enough. It smells like it could be someone supplying illegal stuff to a prison. It could be a family thing. It could be a lot of things. And again, we don't have the smoking pew-pew, because no one has put any pew-pew or found any pew-pew they can link to this. I don't know. I really don't know what's happening. Well, we don't call them first remove. We just call them our pine, like a pine tree. That's call it gran. That's the same word. But I don't know. Yeah, putting the cart before the horse, because we can speculate, and we don't really know what's going on. But it's very interesting, because pew-pewing the guy with 11 bullets, but the rest of them only 1. Did he fight? Why did the others not fight? There was a 15-year-old kid, the 21-year-old and the 20-year-old the 15-year-old could have gone at him, but the rest of them seemed like he tapped them in the back. Seems weird. We just have to wait and see, because we can speculate, but assumptions make a donkey out of you and me. Yes, I got my rat sent to me on the Discord. Thank you so much. So, but I don't know. I think it looks interesting, and we'll keep an eye on it. I was hoping that I could have covered that Samantha Cobbs case, but it's not streamed. So we keep on looking what we can find, and hopefully you'll keep coming back and see what we find. I think the Adelson will be done today or tomorrow. So hopefully we can get back to get some good old crimes, because I think that case is so boring. I was watching La Vuelta a España while I hurt my back in the gym today, so I couldn't really do anything. And I was sitting there watching La Vuelta, and I had the closing arguments, and that was from the, what's her name, the prosecutor that people thought was so great. She just had the same monotone voice all the way. There was no passion. And when I stood up to go make my dinner, I was like, oh, I forgot I had my iPad on because it was just background noise. So yeah. I just want another Plevin into you. You think you can get the Petro? Reach out to Marissa, because I have suggested it a lot of times that we should get Plevin back, and Marissa goes absolutely cray-cray every time anyone mentions it, every time I mention it. But I'm sure she will listen to you, Mary. It's just me she hates. Another one I want to have an interview with, and I don't know if I can reach out to her on the Twitch thread. And actually, she was on with Plevin the other day. That former judge who is covering the Harmony Montgomery trial, because Adam Montgomery is trying to get a new case because he believed that they have combined two cases that shouldn't have been combined, which didn't give him a fair shot. And I really want to have her on, but I don't know how to reach out to her. Carol Askin. So I hope I can get a talk with her, because it really bothers me a lot of what happened in the Montgomery trial. I have to make a video on that as well. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to do and not enough time to do it, because I'm a lazy effer. So yeah, closings were just, and there was just more. Apparently the defense closing, she just yelled at the jury. So I don't know, but I'm gonna let you all go because it's 10:30 my time, and I'll see how much I'll do tomorrow, because my back is really killing me. So I hope it'll be better. I'll go pop some strong pills, and hopefully I will feel more sprightly tomorrow. No, I won't. I'm never sprightly, but maybe I can part frolic tomorrow. Everyone, see you later.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right,
I'm in love.
I've done that two
Go
times
back.
already
Please,
today.
please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't have cared.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.